Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Good afternoon and welcome to a Friday edition of Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. I'm Charles Hanagriff along with Jacob Hester, Cade Wazan, Paul O'Neill with us here today. Playboy Marty, he's a maybe. It's Friday. He's a maybe.
I don't blame him. It's Friday.
Yeah,
he just had a good show.
Yeah, that's right.
He's trying to get his weekend picks in.
Just finished up. Hey, we'll have our picks later in today's show.
And we can actually say them with our chest out this week.
No bragging. They're listening. The gambling gods.
Yeah, you're right.
They do not.
I apologize.
They do not like bravado.
I was just
Trust
kidding.
me.
I was just kidding, guys. My chest is back.
Yeah. Tame it down. This is, by the way, if you are looking for coverage of Hurricane Delta, it is provided on our continuing coverage right now on our sister station, Talk 107.3. So Kevin Ford and company downstairs, they are keeping you up to date with the latest on the storm. So that is where you need to go if you're looking for more storm information. In the meantime, we continue with 2020. Did you watch the football last night?
I watched most of it. So I was actually listening to it on the radio because I was coming back from studio and it was raining. And, you know, sometimes I like to watch it and I kind of put it up there on the dashboard, which isn't very safe. So I didn't do that.
Oh, okay. Don't rat yourself out here. Okay, so last night was just the most 2020 pair of football games that you can have. If I sat here and told you yesterday that Tom Brady, the Tom Brady, 9 Super Bowls, 6 Super Bowl wins, 4 Super Bowl MVPs, first ballot Hall of Famer, considered by many to be the greatest quarterback that has ever put on a pair of cleats, would lose track of the downs.
He absolutely did, by the way.
Yeah.
Arian's like, no, he didn't. He lost track.
He's got 4 fingers in the air,
with
right?
the most puzzled look on his face.
He looked like he didn't know if a football was blown up or stuffed. Tom Brady.
Or deflated.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. Tom Brady lost track of the downs. And in the college game, I had to look this up. When you win the turnover battle, you win the great portion of the games, okay? I wanted to look up the exact data, okay? And in the last 7 years, if you just win the turnover battle, you win the game 65% of the time, okay? That's just a +1, all right? Over the last 7 years, this was all I could find as far as cumulative data. How many games do you think there have been where a team had +5 in the turnover margin? +5. Just give me a percentage. In the last 7 seasons, what percentage of games has there been a +5 or more?
5?
1.6%, okay, of the games in college football over the last 7 years. Right? How many of those games has the team that was +5 lost?
0.
0.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying that Tulane stinks. How can you win the turnover battle +5? And I couldn't even find this stat. If anybody in the Bayou Ford chat can help me out here, you guys are good. I looked, I couldn't find it. But if you not only do you win the turnover battle +5 and get 2 defensive touchdowns, what are your chances of winning? I mean, to beat a team that gets +5 and gets 2 defensive touchdowns, it's like impossible to win.
I thought they were going to run away with the game when it was 24-7. I mean, Houston has not played. Let's remember that.
Right.
So you've been in the thick of things, right? You've played to that point. You've played 3 games. You had gone through really ebbs and flows. You blew a huge lead, which looks like that's the identity of this team. But then you let a team that has not played yet come back from 24-7 down.
And they didn't nip you at the wire either.
No, they ran away.
They beat you by 18. They beat you going away. Now, for those of us that know better than to bet on Tulane, it was nice. But just that was bizarre to watch. It's like, wait a minute, this can't be. Okay. So is that more 2020 or is that more Tulane? Because I like Willie Fritz an awful lot. I
do.
think he's a very good coach. And this year they just
It's Tulane. No, it's Tulane. There's some teams that do not know how to play with the lead. You don't lose to an option team when you have the lead like Tulane had over Navy. Like that should never happen. Their offense is literally not set up to come back and score points that fast, and they did that to you.
And they beat you throwing the football too.
Not even the way that they do it, right? They didn't even run the triple option and break like an 80-yarder. And then you lose this game to a team in Houston, like we mentioned, has not even played a game yet. Their first 4 get canceled. You would think, okay, we're up. We know what we're going to do. We're going to take the air out of the ball. We're going to run some clock. We're going to play this type of defense, keep everything in front of you. They didn't do that. They get beat by 18 after leading by 17.
You pay attention to in-game odds, okay?
I do.
You find that interesting. And what do you think the in-game odds would be if I told you at some point in the game you were going to get to +5 turnovers? If you just had that piece of information and nothing else, what are your – I mean, I already told you how many times in game, how many times they've won in the last 7 years. I mean, it's decimal points followed by lots of zeros.
By the way, Houston, after they got down 24-7, was plus 1,600, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
That's what they were.
Something like that, yeah. I wish I had paid
They were
attention
plus
to that.
1,600 when they went down 24-7.
Now keep in mind that Houston beat them in total yards 2.5 to 1.
Yeah.
I mean, this wasn't.
But Tulane won this game a year ago.
They did.
Yeah.
When Houston wasn't just giving the ball away, they dominated the line of scrimmage and all that stuff. But to overcome 5 turnovers, I mean, the only thing more bizarre than that would be Tom Brady losing track of what down it is.
And it makes sense because the throw that he made, it looked like one he was trying to get just some yards and not really for the game. Because, remember, they only needed 5.
Yeah.
And he's pushing it down the field
They
trying
only
to
need
get
a field goal to win.
He was trying to get a chunk of yards.
Yeah.
And he thought it was 3rd down because he actually had the back. He could have checked it down to him for a first down. He was trying to be greedy. It was actually a bad throw into a bad coverage.
Yeah.
And then he didn't know what down. I mean, he's standing on the field, just holding it up for like, where are you guys going? We
Right.
got another down. No, Tom.
I couldn't have been more surprised if Tom Brady had gone to Wrigley Field to play the game last night instead of Soldier Field. I mean, it's that big of a mistake for him. Anyway, so it was entertaining last night. We got football, right? So that's a positive thing. But wow, last night was very, very 2020-esque.
Yeah, Laura does bring up a great point inside the Bayou for Chad here. Well, LSU was +3 with a pick 6 and still lost to Mississippi State. It's a very good point.
Yeah. +3 is not +5, but yeah. So what has to happen on the other side for that? It has to go 623 yards. See, okay, so she brings up a good stat there. Add that into, you talk about limited information, lacking context, +3, pick 6. You hold your opponent to 9 yards rushing. And you're at home.
Yeah.
You're going to win.
Yeah.
99.999.
Scored 34 points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All of those things.
I don't and Brent saying in the chat as well that the turnover stat is meaningless in today's game. I don't think that. I think it's still something that means something. One stat though, Brent, that is meaningless is time of possession now.
Yeah, the time of possession I'm with you.
But time of possession used to be say all be all.
Well, because it was a running game.
Yeah.
And you needed time
even when I was playing,
it
was time of possession. You got to win the clock. Jimbo, I cannot tell you how many. Got to win the clock. Got to win the clock.
No, I don't understand why you would say the turnover stat is meaningless. The turnovers dictate field position.
Extra possessions.
Yeah. I couldn't possibly disagree with that more. I think it's still the most relevant stat. If you give me tomorrow's card, okay? And just don't give me anything else. Just give me team A and team B. I don't want to know who's home. I don't care who's away. I don't care what the point spread is. I don't care. Just give me the turnover stat, and I'll win you money tomorrow. Promise you. Okay. That's how it's always been.
I want you to win me money tomorrow with your picks. So
you'd win last week. You got 5 out of 6.
I know.
And then and I think I would have won 6 out of 6 if you wouldn't have jinxed me.
No, don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
That's when you were talking a little bit at the beginning of the show on Monday. I was going all the way into Monday. I was giving you I think it was a Friday night, Saturdays, and a Monday.
Don't you hate when you've got like even like a 3-team parlay and it's all Saturday or it's all Sunday, but sometimes you'll have 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday, or 2 on Sunday, 1 on Monday, and you've got to wait out, and you know what the inevitable's coming. You know what's going to happen, and usually it's like heart-wrenching type of losses.
Or if you have an open-ended one, you feel compelled to fill it in on Monday night, or do you wait next week for a better spot? Do you have the patience to wait it out? So you can always say what you're supposed to do, and then what you actually do.
I know what you're supposed to do today. Go to small sliders because it's open.
That's right.
Even in this weather.
You want to talk about hunker down tonight, and ride out the weather. Get you some small sliders. Slide on through freshly made sliders, French fries, and milkshake.
And also talked with them a little bit earlier. Remember, they are still hiring. That's something we told you about a couple of weeks ago. They are still looking for new team members. So go over there, pick up an application. And while you're there, since they are open today, even though I know some people closed for the hurricane, they are open for business. Go ahead and pick up some sliders, fries, and milkshakes.
East Boyd at Nicholson, just a very short distance off the LSU campus. Big show for you today. Ivan Maisel from ESPN will be with us at the bottom of the hour. College football talk there. College football talk with Clint Stoener, the former Arkansas quarterback. He works for 610, Radio 610 in Houston, and also for CST. He's part of the Arkansas broadcast. We'll have Peter Burns from the SEC Network in the 1 o'clock hour. Chris Plank from Sirius Radio and also from the Oklahoma Sooners Radio Network will be with us. We'll do first class, second class, no class. We'll do our picks late in the show.
Today.
So we got a lot of stuff to do here. Thanks for being with us. This is Hangin' with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
Gotros Outdoor Power. We've been telling you about the great zero-turn mowers from Skag, but right now you might be in need of a generator. So you can get your generators at both locations of Gotros Outdoor Power, Airline at 74 in Gonzales, Airline at Industrialplex in Baton Rouge. Listen, we may be spared the brunt of this storm, but for the next storm, and we hope it's a long, long time. But get your generators at Gotros Outdoor Power.
You're absolutely right. That's something that I actually did this week. Yes, it might not be this storm, but like Hanny said, and especially in 2020, this hurricane season, make sure that you're prepared, and you can be prepared by going to Gotros. Hanny gave you the locations. I want to give you the website, GotrosOutdoorPower.com, because if you're listening to us in North Louisiana, if you're watching us across the state on CST, remember they do have free delivery to you within the state of Louisiana. Take full advantage of that. Just another reason, it's Gotros. We make it easy.
Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 25.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. It's a football Friday. Phil Steele joins us. The Riot Radio Hour, our celebrity guest picker. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
And we're brought to you by Small Sliders on Fridays. Great way to start your weekend off. Freshly made sliders, fries, and a milkshake from Smalls just off the LSU campus, East Boyd at Nicholson. Saints and the Chargers on Monday night. Got a chance to hear a little bit from Sean Payton yesterday. Been a week for them too. They had to decide, for a while there it was up in the air on whether or not they were going to go to Indianapolis to either practice and or play. So given that, plus it's been a very rocky week where COVID is concerned in the NFL with more positive tests and some more facilities shut down, including today. And Peyton was asked yesterday about how many distractions they've had.
Well, look, I think we're fortunate right now. It appears that we're going to be able to stay, and this storm is staying a little bit more towards the west of us. So we're trying to really focus on this game, focus on what we have to do to improve as a team here. After 4 weeks, there's still a number of things that are painfully glaring, and that's what we're tasked to do right now and get ready to play this team.
Now, the painfully glaring part on the defense, another 29 points against the Lions a week ago, and put themselves in an early hole. The one big play early on that to Amendola that busted open the first drive, and then they get the turnover and they cash in quick. So if you talk about glaring stuff, to me, it's still on the defensive side of the ball.
How about Danny Amendola, by the way, just him having a big play. The guy's been in the league this is his 13th season.
Yeah.
Now, so that's not people that you want to give up big plays to. But, again, the defense with the injuries they had, not surprising there. So that's kind of one of the challenges. Who can get back on the field this week? Because even though the Chargers are missing people, Austin Eckler, one of the biggest big play running backs, right? Mike Williams kind of been up and down this week. Doesn't look like that he's going to have a go at it. And Keenan Allen can make those plays, though. Hunter Henry can make those plays. That was something I was watching going into this Saints game, was the tight end position for the Lions, because the Saints have been so bad against tight ends. Now, Waller's going to have those numbers go up because of the performance he had against them, but Hunter Henry is the guy that can beat you on his own. So there's still problems for the Chargers that the Saints are going to have to worry about.
And this was Peyton on the Los Angeles Chargers.
This team's played well. They've been in a lot of close games. We're ahead last week 24-7 before the half, and you just watch the film and you can see the quality of the team we're playing. We know this team well. We practiced with them, I feel like, at least 2 or 3 times in the last 5 years.
He gets along with Anthony Lynn. They have put those things together. And he's right. They have played in some close games. The opener against Cincinnati, the missed short field goal that would have taken that game to overtime. The game against the Chiefs where Butker made the 58-yarder 3 times in a row.
And he's missed 2 extra points in back-to-back weeks, but who's counting?
I know. Believe me, I'm aware of that. And then the game where they blew the lead against Tampa. So he's right on that. I would say that the one different thing is now that they know that Justin Herbert is a guy. And if there was any doubt, Anthony Lynn announced it yesterday just to make sure there wasn't any confusion about that. And he's a guy that Peyton knows from back. They evaluated him when he was coming out in the draft, even though they were not going to have a chance to draft him. They wanted to get to know him a little bit. You never know when that information could come in useful.
Talent. He can throw off body, in some funny body positions. He made some big plays last week. I've been impressed. He's tall. He's got a real good arm, and we obviously remember him through the draft process. So, quickly identifying some of the things that he's doing well and finding ways to try to neutralize those things. But I think he's played real well.
His body type does look a little bit like Phillip Rivers to me. The tall, the long gang.
Yeah.
When Rivers was that age, okay, Rivers is filled out. He's a heavier guy now. I don't remember though that Rivers was much of a threat with his legs early in his career, and Herbert definitely. I was being nice.
You were being nice. You were trying. Look, I love PR-17, but. Nah, not a dual threat guy.
But Herbert can run.
He can,
and that's something else that they've got to be conscious of because they play a lot of man coverage, and you turn and you run with those guys, you open up the middle of the field.
And here's the book on Herbert. It's never been a talent issue. He can run. We've seen him escape the pocket, get out, make throws on the run. We saw the 60-yard pass he had in the air last week against Tampa Bay. The knock on him coming out. When I talked with scouts and draft experts, they don't know if he's an alpha. They didn't know if he could, gain control of the locker room, be the leader that marched them into battle every single week. He was kind of passive. He was kind of a guy that just fit in instead of stood out. And NFL teams, they worry about that at that quarterback position because it is such a premium. Now, I still don't know if that's changed or if that was really complete just bull. Don't know that. It looks like they are following him right now. It looks like he has got the attention of the team, what he's been able to do. He can make some plays. This is a player that I was dead wrong on draft night. When the Chargers selected him, I was kind of like you were with the Saints pick. I didn't like the fit just because of the things I had been hearing. But so far, he's played extremely well. Yeah, he's made some mistakes, but it's been more positive than mistakes. It makes me nervous with the Saints, how many defensive backs are on the mend, how many are coming back from injury, even if they are going to play in this game. So this is going to be a good test for this defense because I think you're talking about a talented player that can make every throw.
How do you gauge that alpha when you've got just a limited amount of time to get to know the kid? I know they do their background work and all that stuff, but to me, that would be something that would be very easy to get wrong. I mean, they don't all come out like Joe Burrow. I mean, that one's kind of obvious.
there's like alpha, and then there's like the next tier up, and that's what.
Yeah, I'm thinking about high picks. Okay,
right.
Kyler Murray. Okay. Kyler Murray's got to have that because otherwise the confidence in yourself, that alpha, because otherwise you don't give up the millions of dollars that he already had in the bank. Okay. So I'm sold on him.
Yeah.
Okay. At the same time, Baker Mayfield, I didn't know. Coming out, he had some off the field stuff.
Had a cockiness to him, but yeah.
All right. So cocky if you play well is good. Cocky if you play bad.
Exactly.
I mean, I would think it'd be a difficult thing to try to evaluate on the short term.
I agree with you there. Obviously, like you mentioned, you're talking to everybody with Oregon. You're talking to the trainers. You're talking to the equipment staff. You're talking to the weight room staff. Hey, how was he in off-season workouts? How was he in this situation? So you gain a little bit of a book on him. And then the Senior Bowl is really important because the Senior Bowl, it's uncomfortable. Okay, so the first day when you get there, you walk up in this auditorium with hundreds of people in there, and you're in your underwear. I mean, you're in your underwear, and you get up, and they're measuring you, and all you have on is your girdle. That's it. Okay, well, situation's a little different, and you're not comfortable because it's not your playbook. It's somebody else's playbook. You've never played with this quarterback. You've never played. So as a fullback, I never played with Matt Forte before, but that's who I was blocking for was Matt Forte. And, you get a little nervous about, okay, how's this going to work out? So in that situation, which Herbert was at the Senior Bowl, they wanted him to take charge a little bit more. He wasn't. He was kind of sitting back. He was passive. And, Hanny, we know this. They do too much deep dive in these NFL drafts. They talk themselves out of things. They talk themselves into things. Like, who knows? I've told y'all my story. At the Combine, the first question I got from the Lions was, have you ever cheated on your wife? We want to see if you're committed. Like, I will slap you out that chair if you ever ask me that again.
Right.
Like, so they chase ghosts, just like we always chase ghosts in football. We overthink everything. And so sometimes that happens. No, turn on the tape. See if he has the tools. If he has the tools, okay, we'll see how he is in the huddle. Is he, kind of hitting people, hey, pay attention to me, grabbing people, putting them where they're supposed to be. If a play, if it's a foo bar, if it's a little messed up, whatever it might be. That's how you gain it, not how he does in Mobile, Alabama in a 7-day period when he doesn't know anybody and it's a little different.
But somebody could do all of those things and it still doesn't work, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if you turned on the tape and looked at Jamarcus Russell's 2006 season, I mean, it was eye-popping.
Yeah.
That arm talent, that accuracy that year.
Yeah, he actually threw me the ball, Flynn.
I mean, if you watched that guy play against just Notre Dame, and you were like, can that guy play in the NFL? Yeah, but it didn't work out.
Right.
So paralysis by analysis sometimes.
It's just so much of the NFL.
You get by without him and developing some kind of chemistry with the other guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It's given a lot more reps to guys like Traquan Smith and I mean, even Emmanuel Sanders and some of the other young guys. Deontay Harris has gotten a ton of opportunities, and I think just all the way around. We do so much with our personnel groups and formations, et cetera, anyway. But obviously, Mike is a big part of our offense, a focal point in our offense. And so when you remove a guy like that, all those opportunities, all those touches, need to be kind of filled by someone else. And I'd say it was a group effort, and I think those guys did a great job.
Thought it got better as they went along. Thought it was rocky in the first game. Thought it got better as they went along with Emmanuel Sanders.
What he did with the 49ers when he just came in.
A week.
It took him. It was basically like he signed on Monday, started on Sunday.
In the
type
middle
stuff,
of the season,
right?
too. Yeah,
exactly. So you're like, oh well, that's going to work with the Saints. He's been with them. He's even during a COVID offseason, we've seen it. Proof's in the pudding. We've seen. Okay, well, I think that now you're seeing. Okay, now he's getting comfortable. Now he's getting on the same page because it does take a couple of weeks.
We're brought to you by Small's Sliders. Slide on through for freshly made sliders, fries, and milkshakes. East Boyd at Nicholson. And remember, they are still hiring. So stock up on them and ride it out tonight with Small's Sliders. Ivan Maisel, when we come back, we'll talk some college football with him from ESPN. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, we're brought to you every single day by our title sponsor, Richards Honda. Of course, you can find them online at richardshonda.com. They've always got something going on over at Richards Honda. The trade-in, trade-up event is going on right now. Just like I always tell you, you've got some time over at Richards Honda. In the bottom left corner on the website, it tells you exactly how long you have left to save. You need to go over to 13413 Millerville Greens Boulevard in Baton Rouge and check out the 700-plus new and pre-owned vehicles they have over there on the lot during this special going on right now. Look at all the cars you can have, right? The Accord, the Civic, and the Fit. Look at all the hybrids. You've got the Accord hybrid, the Clarity plug-in hybrid, the CRV hybrid, which is that midsize SUV hybrid, and also the Insight. Speaking of midsize SUVs, they've got you covered with the CRV, the HRV, and the Passport. They have the full size, which seats 8, Honda Pilot, the Odyssey minivan, the Ridgeline truck. So as you can tell, no matter what you need, no matter where you're at in your life, they've got something you'll love over at Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
They are exactly the same.
They're identical. Actually, they're not. Has2 also has antioxidant vitamin C.
Antioxidant? Then we'll take Has2.
Given the choice, why wouldn't you choose the one with antioxidant vitamin C? Choose Vizzy Hard Seltzer.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your...
Coming up on Mondays Off the Bench, we recap the weekend. How did LSU look in their final tune-up game pre-Florida? Biggest takeaways from the SEC? We'll preview Saints Chargers on Monday night. Give you our weekend winners. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We are brought to you by Smalls Sliders. Nicholson Eddie's, boy, just off the LSU campus. Slide on through. Get you some sliders, freshly made, fries, and a milkshake as we head in. You're going to hunker down here tonight as you're looking for more information on Hurricane Delta. Our sister station, Talk 107.3, can help you out. Joining us now from ESPN, Ivan Maisel, as we get into another big college football weekend. Ivan, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing well. Just hoping against hope for all of y'all.
Well, pray for the guys in Southwest Louisiana, further to our Southwest, because where Hurricane Laura hit just 6 weeks ago is about where this storm is going to hit. So we're definitely thinking about our friends down in Lake Charles and in that area for sure. Ivan, one of the most interesting games tomorrow for me is Tennessee and Georgia. This is Tennessee stepping up in class. They've got the longest winning streak in the country right now. It has been against teams that are equal to or maybe lesser than the Tennessee Vols, but tomorrow they got to go to Athens. So are they ready to make that next step and join the upper echelon in the SEC East?
I don't think so. There's two things that to me are holding me back from pushing my chips all in on Tennessee. One is, as great as an 8-game winning streak is, or 9 or whatever it is now, Tennessee historically always plays a soft November. So, if you look back at who they won, who they beat at the end of last year, there weren't any, just head-turning victories there. And two, this Georgia defense, I think, is the real deal, and I'm just not convinced that Garantano is going to be able to have his way with it. So, now, having said that, Jeremy Pruitt's doing a really good job, and Tennessee, I think, is miles ahead of where I thought they'd be, and they're on the way back. I just don't think they're all the way back.
Well, Ivan, that's kind of been the talk in the SEC for the last couple of seasons. Could Tennessee get back? Could Texas A&M take that next step? And everyone tried to sell us that Texas A&M was actually going to make that step, and they have not done so. In fact, they got embarrassed last week against Alabama. Now, Alabama's a good football team. They're probably going to do that to a lot of SEC teams. But the Jimbo Fisher experiment has just not worked out to this point. I know they're paying him a lot of money. They expected he would recruit the state of Texas at an elite level, but for whatever reason, the development has just not been there for Texas A&M.
No, I've been thinking a little bit about this. My other favorite sport, and I used to cover it, is golf. And there's an old saying in golf that anybody can win one major, but you got to win two or more before you're considered a great player. And I think there might be a little bit of truth to that with football coaches too. I think winning one national championship it's a hell of an achievement, but if you want to really be considered among the greats, you got to do it again. And I think Jimbo has shown, he had two great seasons with Jameis Winston at Florida State, and other than that, he's just been a good coach, but not a great one.
Ivan Maisel is our guest. Ivan, if we had asked at the beginning of the season what the combined records of Texas and Oklahoma would be going in to the Red River, we probably wouldn't have picked 1-3 in the Big 12, which really could very easily be 0-4. So what do you think tomorrow in Dallas?
I'm anxious to see it just because it's going to be so weird. And it's not just the fact that these teams are struggling to be mediocre right now, but an virtually empty Cotton Bowl, a empty state fairgrounds. So much of the history and lore of that rivalry is the atmosphere that surrounds the game and the stadium seats that are 50% burnt orange and 50% crimson. And, we're not getting any of that. We're not even getting the Texas and OU that we've been accustomed to getting over the last 20 years. So I'm curious. I'm going to start out watching it. I don't know how long I'm going to last, but it's like everything else in 2020. You just no telling what's going to happen and what you're going to get from week to week.
Ivan, it's funny when you say that, because I was thinking when you were coming on today, the incredible doc that you did, the 150 years of college football. I was so grateful just to be included into that because it was so well done, and there was so many great things I think a lot of people saw for the first time, maybe if they were born a little bit later, and it really did a fantastic job of describing college football. And then LSU went and had the season that they had. So last year for me, being a part of that and then watching LSU was like college football utopia. Like, you couldn't tell me anything, but never did I think, Ivan, that we'd be in this point this year with everything looking so different in college football. We've got Power 5 conferences playing a different amount of games and a different start date. And so last year for me was utopia. So I knew it was going to take a step back, but not this big of a step.
Yeah, we've gone from utopia to dystopia, right? It's going to be weird. It has started out weird. Teams, everybody always looks sloppy the first 2 weeks of the season. I mean, that's just, and that's with a full spring and a full summer of workouts and a full August. And I think everybody has looked sloppy so far this year, but we don't know how long it's going to last. And I mean, I don't know, guys. I don't envy the playoff committee. It's not just the fact that, as you pointed out, they're playing 11 games in the ACC and 7 in the Pac-12, but Ohio State and the rest of the Big Ten and USC and the rest of the Pac-12, it's going to be Thanksgiving before they're playing at game speed, really. Yeah. Based on what's happened to everybody else. And how does the committee, how do you measure the SEC and ACC schools that are, going to finally round into shape pretty soon against teams that are still scraping off rust. I mean, regardless of how many games they've played. So it's going to be curious.
Ivan Maisel is our guest from ESPN. Ivan, in horse racing, they talk about stepping up in class. You go from claiming races to allowance races to stakes races. Well, this from Miami would be the equivalent of going from a claiming race to the Kentucky Derby, the teams that they've played so far, and now they got to play Clemson. Still, De'Aaron King has done some things with that offense, and they've looked good, despite the competition that they've played. You can only play who you can play. What kind of chance do you give them at Clemson tomorrow?
I think it'll be a competitive game. I do. I think Miami has, I think Manny Diaz has begun to unlock something. And it's a huge moment for Derek King. I mean, this is why he came to Miami. And as good as he was at Houston, he didn't quite have that big stage, and now he's got the biggest stage. That said, Clemson's used to this kind of atmosphere, and again, it's a diminished atmosphere, not what they're used to, and maybe that'll work to Miami's benefit. I don't know, but I'm a little skeptical that Miami will get over the top, but I think they're going to push Clemson pretty hard.
Ivan, I know it's not going to last, and so I'm not even getting my hopes up, but I've actually enjoyed Notre Dame having to be in a conference and having a conference tie. It's actually been very enjoyable for me. Now, I know it's going to go away pretty quickly, but, in this season, they add something, I think, to the ACC. They add another true contender, which is only going to push Clemson.
Sure. I mean, in fact, I was talking with another writer this week that this may be the last time that we see the ACC with 4 teams in the top 10, for a long time. And I like the fact that Notre Dame is in the ACC. I like the fact that the SEC is playing the conference-only schedule. If this dystopia, as Jacob put it, or that I put it after Jacob, if this dystopian season leaves anything behind, I kind of hope Notre Dame likes what they are doing in the ACC, and that the SEC will lean more toward what Nick Saban has been saying for years, and play more conference games. But I'm not. My hopes aren't real high for that either.
I know we're all spoiled. I'm right there with you. 10 SEC games so far. It's been a lot of fun, but don't think that we're going to get that in the future. Ivan, before we let you go, I know World Mental Health Day is tomorrow. That's something we're advocates for it here on this show and the different charities that we work with. I know that's something that is near and dear to your heart, as well as something that you want to raise awareness with.
Yes, thanks. My son died from mental illness, and you can stand by and not say something, or you can just try to remove the stigma. And I think what all of us that have gone through this understand is that mental illness is an illness, and it's just as deadly in some forms as every other illness. And if we can get young people to understand there's no shame in asking for help, and there's no shame in being sick, then we'll go a long way toward fixing this.
Ivan, we appreciate your time. Enjoy the football weekend, and we'll look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Y'all too. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Ivan Maisel. We'll take a break. We are brought to you by Smalls Sliders. Slide on through East Boyd at Nicholson.
By the way, kickoff at 11 a.m. tomorrow. They open up at 10:30 a.m. So you can pick it up for the game, ready to go.
Very convenient, and they are still hiring at Smalls Sliders. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
As we will be in a cleanup mode after Hurricane Delta. If you are having to make any type of repairs that involve you digging, well, please call 811 first. You don't want to hit any lines and make things even worse by maybe for yourself or your neighbors knocking out the power again or having the water line hit, a gas line that would cause maybe even a small explosion. Call 811. Give them your address, and within 2 days, somebody shows up to mark all the lines on your property so you don't hit any of them and cause yourself and your neighbors any problems.
We always tell you how easy it is because it is very easy. You can call 811. You can also go to Louisiana811.com, call or click to have this service done to you. It's just, look, it's the law. You have to do it. It's the smart thing to do as well. Don't put yourself and others in harm's way. Just pick up the phone, call 811, or click on Louisiana811.com. Do it. It's the law.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Here at the Big Squeezy, we continue to serve the Baton Rouge and Southeast Louisiana areas during these troubling times. We are dedicated to providing you healthy food items to help you live your best life. From our cold-pressed juices to our delicious smoothies, let the Big Squeezy keep you going. Stay active, stay happy, and let us help you stay healthy. Visit us at our locations and also inside of Alexander's and Mathern's grocery stores or online at thebigsqueezy.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
When you want the best of Louisiana, you don't go to a superstore. We know what we like, and we like it local. Same goes for banking. As one of Louisiana's largest local banks, we offer homegrown services crafted around you. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you.
Choose your fighter. Dax, 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 with antioxidant vitamin C.
Given the choice, why wouldn't you choose the one with antioxidant vitamin C? Choose Vizzy Hard Seltzer.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is Charles Hanagriff. Join Jacob, Hester, and I for the next edition of Hangin' with Hester and Hanny as we get you ready for LSU and Missouri and a big SEC football weekend. We'll also have the latest on Hurricane Delta. Hangin' with Hester and Hanny, noon weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
And we're brought to you by Small Sliders. Slide on through for freshly made sliders, fries, and a milkshake that is just about, on a couple of miles, not even 2 miles from LSU. Freshly made all weekend long, and they're opening early before the game tomorrow, so 10:30 is your start. Speaking of games this weekend, Kansas doesn't have one. But Les Miles, we got this at the end of the show yesterday, that he has tested positive for COVID. You had a chance to talk to him this morning.
I did. I talked to him this morning. He actually said so far things are going okay and, in recovery. And so spirits were up, as always, when you talk to Les. And so hopefully he can get back on the sidelines and be COVID-free here pretty soon. Something that, as we talked about yesterday, obviously, when you start talking about somebody in his age bracket, it's something that you worry about.
He is 68. 67
in that range, yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. And so, but as always, when you talk to Les, good spirits, and excited to talk to him this morning, hear his voice.
He will turn 67 in a few weeks, in November. You talk to him a lot?
Usually not during football season, obviously, because I know his schedule, and I try not to bother him during the off season. Yeah, it's every 3 weeks, every month or so, text exchange, and get on the phone maybe once every couple of months. So.
Right. Well, lots going on tomorrow though in the world of college football. Some of the games we haven't even really touched on too much. North Carolina trying to keep pace in the ACC if we're going to set up these big matchups later in the season. Plays Virginia Tech tomorrow. Do we know how good North Carolina? They struggled last week. They got the win. What do you think? We sort of anointed Miami as the next.
You got a mouse in your pocket?
I'm sorry. The national pundits have anointed Miami as the biggest threat to Clemson, and we'll find out where Miami is tomorrow. But North Carolina, how do you feel?
Preseason hype, and I was buying into it. I thought a lot of Sam Howell. Still do think a lot of Sam Howell. The recruiting class that they're putting together now. Sometimes when you're putting a class together that's not going to affect the season, you still allow it to affect your mind. Tennessee has some of that as well, but so far it's not been as smooth out of the gate. Not saying they can't turn around, because the good thing for North Carolina is they found a way. All right, you got to find a way sometimes when you don't have your best stuff to go out there and win a football game, and so they've been able to do that. They're still going to be in the thick of it. I don't necessarily think they're the 8th best team in the country right now, but this is a chance for them on a big stage, ABC, to prove it against a pretty good Virginia Tech team. So if they go out there, maybe the level of competition goes up and they play a little bit better. But saying all that, I do think Boston College with a new head coach is a better program and a better team. I know that was a team that they struggled with last time out. So we'll see how much of it was Boston College improving or how much North Carolina still has to grow.
And we got 4 games tomorrow with ranked teams. What was it, the first couple of weeks? I think we had 2 combined in the 2 weeks. It was
a slow start. We were excited
right,
to watch it. But
give us anything. But it's a much better card tomorrow. Even some of the games that are not ranked teams against ranked teams carry a whole lot of intrigue. Like I'm very curious to see Alabama and Ole Miss. And I was pleased that they moved the kickoff back an hour and a half, because it'll be starting right about the time we get off the post game.
Right.
So I can watch the whole game there. I don't think that Ole Miss is going to win, but I do think I'm going to be entertained by the game.
I talked with someone very close to the Ole Miss program, and earlier this morning I was kind of asking, the feelings on the game. He's like, you know what? We got some guys. He's like, we got some guys. We love our quarterback. We've got some guys that are very talented. He said, but I don't know if this is news to you. They got some Jimmies and Joes too.
No kidding. Breaking news. Alabama's got players.
So it's an exciting game, though. I mean, even if it gets out of hand late, it's still going to be an exciting game. Matt Corral, to me, has been one of the biggest surprises in the SEC. The way he's come out, we didn't think he was going to be the starter. We assumed. I think a lot of us just assumed because John Rice Plumlee, what he did to LSU and how he finished the season. But Matt Corral, not only has he been playing extremely well, he's been a tough son of a gun. He's taking some hits. He gets right back up and throws the ball down the field the next play. So Ole Miss is going to have moments in this game that are successful. But Alabama's going to have more. They're going to win the game. But I expect a fun 3-quarter game. And then the 4th quarter, the studs take over.
You like me, you're waiting for the gotcha play with Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
That is, he's found something. And there's not going to be enough of them. I'm not foolish enough to believe that they can hang with Alabama with the defense that they have and the offense that Alabama's got. But those gotcha plays, those things that are going to make Saban throw his hands up on the sideline, go yell at some assistant coach or somebody. Like, I saw that coming. I said, no, you didn't, because Kiffin got you. That's one of the things I'm I'm waiting to see tomorrow. So a lot of interesting games. I think we even got ACC action tonight on a Friday night. We're starting to get some of those back. Lousy game. Louisville and Georgia Tech both off to bad start. You know what though? Power permitting, I'm going to watch because it's football. So we're going to watch. We'll take a break. Again, we're brought to you by Smalls Sliders. Slide on through East Boyd at Nicholson for freshly made sliders, fries, and shakes. Clint Stoener with us in about 20 minutes from CST and also broadcasting down in Houston, former Arkansas quarterback. We'll talk
He's going to tell you
stuff with him.
exactly what he thinks is my favorite part about Clint.
All right. 15 minutes from the top of the hour. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front-to-Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front-to-Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front-to-Back Boat Services.
Do you know the proper way to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in your office? We do. We're Janny King, a leader in the cleaning industry for over 30 years, and we've developed comprehensive programs to address proper cleaning and disinfection. We have experience in applying disinfecting programs in hospitals, office buildings, schools, and other venues. Now we're ready to help and able to assist customers that need disinfecting services.
Janny King, the king of clean.
Callahan Injury Lawyers. Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hour number 2, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Paul O'Neill on the video board, Cade Wazay on the audio board. Along with Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff. Clint Stoener with us here in about 15 minutes. Peter Burns also with us in this hour. So we should get our fill of SEC football, right?
Does anything else matter?
Does Clemson matter?
No, not
Okay.
this week.
LSU already up in Columbia, Missouri. So getting ready for this game. It's been a challenge. I feel like it's been a long week. It feels like Monday was a long time ago.
It does. Feels like we were at Sammy's a hot minute ago.
It feels like a 2020 year. We've had enough of them. This is just one more.
This week's had its bumps between LSU, between the Saints, and what could happen. Now, thankfully, a lot of that has not happened, but still, there was a lot of things that we didn't know. So there's a lot of things that were up in the air this week.
So you've been through this before, the relocation of the games. What are they feeling like now? Does it feel like you got there a day in advance, an extra day in advance? Now they can focus on the football, even if it isn't a ballroom of some hotel or wherever it is they're working out today. I forgot the name of the thing, but it's not a football field.
Right.
But they can focus on the football at this point.
Yeah. They,
or no?
No, I think they can. And I think the hay was in the barn kind of even before they went up there as far as the game plan and what they wanted to do. There was nothing they were ever going to work on up in Missouri with eyeballs that could potentially be watching them, right, in those practice situations. So a lot of what they were doing was probably just going over the basics of what their game plan was. And then once they get into the film room, they'll go into greater detail. But being there an extra day, okay, it worries you a little bit because it's a little off schedule, a lot of downtime, they've been in a hotel, bored, sitting around. So, I would assume they probably got them out active and didn't allow them just to sit there too long, right? Even if we're just going to walk around the hotel.
Or more meetings.
Right.
We can have more meetings.
I don't think so. I don't think Coach O would over meet. I don't think so because he knows the uniqueness of the situation. One of the things that we used to do was we'd get out of Lod Cook and we'd walk around campus. We'd walk around U-High, make the big kind of circle and walk around just to get up, get your legs stretched out, kind of continue to move and get ready for the game. I'm sure they're doing some of those type of things.
One of the big things I remember that was the most stressful for the players back in 2005 when they had to relocate that game was the lack of information that they were getting on where their families were. And I don't think that that's going to be a problem this time. By the time they wake up tomorrow, the storm will have pretty much cleared Louisiana. They should have been able to talk to their families by now. God hopes everything will be all right. But I do remember that being there was a player, Donald Hines, I think he was, didn't know where his parents were for about a week or something.
Defensive tackle.
Yeah. And there were other stories like that. Donald Haynes was I remember. The stress level of not knowing your family is or your childhood home for those people that were from New Orleans.
Yeah, that was a bad situation because, as y'all know, most of our team, is from that area, South Louisiana, and then it extended into Mobile and Mississippi, all the players that we get from the Gulf Coast there. It was very stressful. I told y'all the other day, Stelzy's family was living in our dorm room. Right, because, they were kind of split up, too, because we had Kevin and Craig Stelz. So we had two Stelz, and you had some family at Kevin's house, some at Craig's house, and really it was just, hey, wherever you can fall and there's room, that's where you can sleep.
Pat's Domino was sleeping on DeMarcus Russell's sofa.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And so even if you knew where your family was, they had nothing. They were displaced. They had none of their stuff, right? You're living in a college dorm room with your son and his roommates because that's the only place we have to go because our family members that we would go to their house, well, their house is in the same situation as our house. And so it was traumatic, not knowing where your family was. And if you did, it was so out of the ordinary that it was not normal in any sense.
So this week, you would have obviously, in a perfect world, would have wanted it to just be a normal week so that you could build on what you did a week ago. They had a lot to feel good about in that Vanderbilt game. Miles Brennan had a lot to feel good about. John Emery had a lot to feel good about. John Trey Kirkland had a lot to feel good about. The defense, they gave up some rushing yards, but they had a lot to feel good about after the performance of a week before. Ideally, you would have just liked this to be a normal week so that they could build on those things without all the distractions.
I agree with you, and that's the challenge of everyone you just said and the coaches to try to make this as normal as possible, because there was so much good last week after so much bad in the first week that you want to continue that growth, right? We talked about building blocks on Monday because this game is so much more important for next week than it is actually for this week. Now, you don't want to overlook your opponent. You want to go out there and win. You don't want to win ugly. But still, the growth of this team needs to be a little bit greater going into a game against Florida in the Swamp where we don't know how many fans are going to be there. They might open it up. Now, we know they're having problems selling tickets right now the way it's set up currently, but if they open it up a little bit more, tickets get a little bit cheaper. Maybe there's more people in there. So the situation is going to change. So this week is important to get ready for that building block of next week because you're going to be underdogs. You're going to be going into one of the louder places that's allowed in the SEC is kind of what we assume. And so this week was very important for LSU to play this game. And I'm not talking about moving it back because of the bye week before Alabama. You kind of know my feelings there. It was important because LSU needs to continue to grow because they're a football team that's not played a lot of football together.
Okay. You talked about building it for next week. Isn't Florida in a more precarious position than LSU is because they're playing a better team? I think Texas A&M is better than Missouri.
Yeah.
I think.
Right.
They're going into that one. It's also an 11 o'clock start. You know, a no energy type situation
against a team that you watched on tape, and they got embarrassed. And you'll sometimes, Hanny, lose sight of that being Alabama, and you'll just see guys running down the field free and be like, "Oh, we got this. We can do that." That's where you fall into trouble. Even when you're playing a team like Texas A&M that's going to be ranked, they're a big time school. We all know who they are. You can get in trouble when you turn on the tape and you're like, that guy ran by him. I beat that guy in the opening at Nike. I ran faster time than him. We're good. That's where you can get in trouble.
If I'm Jimbo Fisher and Kellen Mond, to me this is almost like judgment.
I don't want to be them.
Okay, but well, I'd like to be Jimbo on payday twice a month. I mean, on the 1st and the 15th, send me a check.
Yeah, I get it, but still, I'd rather.
But it doesn't have to be like this. Could be a judgment day type thing for them because this is a ranked team in the top 5 that there's an opening for them. The quarterback and the play calling head coach. This is a Florida defense that has some holes. You can move the football on them. Ole Miss, move the football on them. If you were ever going to make a statement, they can't beat Alabama. We saw that last week. I don't know that they could beat a Georgia. I don't know if they could beat an LSU. And I don't know at this point if they can beat Florida. Probably not. But they're not a massive underdog here. They're about a touchdown underdog here. And if their strength is indeed the quarterback, which every time there's been a big game, he hasn't exactly shown up big. Here's your opportunity. And for the coach who's starting to really feel some heat right now because they've just been mediocre, this is their opportunity to have a who. Who have you beaten? Yeah. Oh, we beat Florida. I hesitate to back Texas A&M because we've seen them fall on their face in this situation so many times. But, man, if that doesn't look like a snake to jump over for me for Florida, with LSU next week and the hole on your team being what the other guys are supposed to be able to do well.
Right.
Now, they scored all the 17 points against Vanderbilt, but this is supposed to – they scored more than that against Alabama. This is supposed to – he threw for 311 against Alabama. Now, he threw the pick 6, but he threw for 311 against Alabama. Why can't Kellen Mond tomorrow have that kind of game and A&M just be a little bit better on defense and give Florida a run here?
In theory, they can.
Okay. I just spent 90 seconds laying out my case like a prosecutor in front of the jury, and you ain't buying none of it.
I'm not right now. Florida on defense, where they struggle is they have not replaced their edge rushers. They had really good edge rushers last year. I think we talked about that yesterday. Okay, they got one linebacker that I think a lot of, but he's a little limited in coverage. He's more of a thumper. They're actually pretty good in the defensive backfield. They've got some corners. They've got some safeties. And so I don't know what kind of success Kellen Mond can have. They actually might have better success running the football, in my opinion, because Spiller's actually a really nice running back, and they've got a change of pace back as well. So that's something to pay attention to. And you're right about everything you said about the pressure that Texas A&M should be feeling in this game. Their last 5 games, well, they've lost 3 of them. Now, they beat Vanderbilt and they beat Oklahoma State in a bowl game, but they lost to LSU, Georgia, and Alabama. Texas A&M fans want to win against LSU, Georgia, and Alabama. They have not gotten to that point yet. Right?
They had a chance in that Georgia game. They had the ball in the second. They had no chance against LSU. They had no chance against Alabama. I think they've got a chance here. I saved this for today because Hunt was gonna stand on his head if I'd said this yesterday.
Well, Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South, said the same thing that you're saying. Yeah. I mean, he said, no, Texas A&M has a real opportunity in this game. It's just like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Well, or as President Bush said, well, you're not going to fool me twice.
just wait till we get to our picks. I'll show you how much faith I have in them.
Okay, so you're crazy.
I'll show you how much faith I have in them by leaving them off. I'm just saying there's a chance.
Okay. I thought you were saying you were putting them on there.
I can't go.
This game's going to go 2 ways. It's going to go 2 ways, in my opinion. Either Florida wins in a close one where Texas A&M plays up, or Florida wins in a rout. That's how much faith I have in Texas A&M to win the ball game right now.
You've got good reasoning for that. I laid out mine, and
I just don't like when I turn on a Texas A&M tape, and it shocks me because I think the world of Jimbo. You know that. It just shocks me when they get down, the effort's gone. They quit. When you go watch that LSU game last year, and they never were going to win that game, they quit on the football field. They tapped out, said no mas. I don't want to be here anymore. They did it last week as well. Like, yeah, you threw for some garbage yards. Okay, you quit. I want to see them not quit in a game where they have some adversity.
And I saw last week, in addition to that, I saw a real talent discrepancy between A&M and Alabama. We talked about this earlier in the week. 3 years in for Jimbo, I think you should be closer. With the resources that you have, the recruiting base that you have, you should be better. 2 number 6 recruiting classes out of the last 3 years, you should be better. They're not. Maybe against Florida. Maybe. But not enough to
What happens if they go out there and they get beat by 3 scores? What's the conversation like? Is it that's about what I thought, or is it something has to change?
You're not going to change the coach. So
you're
talking about changing the quarterback.
Yes,
maybe
because they have a very talented young quarterback that is going to be your guy. He's going to be your guy when Kellen Mond leaves. Do you make a change?
What if they lose by the same token that Ole Miss did, by the same score? What if they lose 51-35? You going to blame Kellen Mond for that? I mean, if they give up half 100 tomorrow?
No. 51-35 is not something. It depends on how it looks. If he threw a pick six again,
you're just assuming that it's going to be Kellen Mond's fault if they get beat bad, and I'm not as certain about that because Florida might put 7 touchdowns on the board tomorrow.
Well, obviously the optics of it matter, but if you get embarrassed by 3 scores again, something's going to change. That's just the way of college football. Hayes King might. Hey, let's roll you out there. See what you got, kid. Because you're not making the change at the coaching position. Yeah. You're just that's not happening.
I have a hard time believing he's going to replace Mond, but
I'm not saying he is, but the pressure to make some type of change if you get beat by 3 scores in another top tier matchup.
Take a break. When we come back, Clint Stoener will be with us, Radio 610 in Houston, and also with CST and the Arkansas Radio Network. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm, fuzzy feeling on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. Right now, with interest rates where they are, you owe it to yourself to see if you can better your financial situation, either by buying a new home. You'll have more purchasing power now with the interest rates than maybe ever before. If you want to do a refinance to maybe shorten the amount of your monthly payment or to shorten the length of your loan. Either way, it's going to make a change in your life. Maybe you're renting. This is the perfect time to buy your first home. Meet with a qualified local counselor from GMFSmortgage.com. They'll lay out all of your options. They'll get some information from you. Doesn't take very long for that initial consultation, and then you can proceed from there all the way to the closing. There won't be any surprises. Do what I did. Do what thousands of others have done. When they talk about changing your life, they're talking about changing your budget every single month for the better. Start that journey today at GMFSmortgage.com.
Football is back.
Tune in Sunday for a full day of NFL coverage starting at noon with the Chiefs Raiders, followed by the Cowboys Giants at 3:25 and the Vikings Seahawks at 7:20. Then, Monday night, the Saints host the Chargers. The NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Do you know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who, without being asked, shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community? We believe that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust.
So, if you know someone that sounds like what Jordy was just describing, nominate them to be your good citizen, and they'll have a chance to win $500 from Citizens Bank and Trust. Plus, we'll mention him right here on the show. So go to citizensbankandtrust.com for more details and nominate your good citizen.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I'm feeling good. So good. I just thought you should know.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Hi, this is Chance Inman, President and Chief Operating Officer for Janney King Gulf Coast. Here are some ways to protect yourself and those around you from the coronavirus. Wash your hands often and thoroughly. Cover coughs and sneezes with your elbow. Disinfect high-touch surfaces regularly. Use non-contact methods for greeting others. And avoid touching your face. Following these steps, as well as social distancing, should help all of us stay healthy.
Janney King, the king of clean.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. It's a Football Friday. Phil Steele joins us. The Riot Radio Hour, our celebrity guest picker. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We are brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
All right, glad to welcome on to the show Clint Stoener, former Arkansas quarterback, does a great job now doing Radio 60 in Houston, also Cox Sports Television, Arkansas Game Day Live. Clint, what's up, brother? Clint, we got you?
Yeah, man. What's going on, baby?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Oh, man, ain't nothing, man. Am I loud and clear?
You're loud and clear, and you should be loud and clear because the Arkansas Razorbacks went out there and beat Mississippi State, first SEC win in the last 20 tries. It was a big week for Arkansas.
Oh, look, man, this is a big week. I got my Arkansas gear on right now, baby. So look, it's a big week. It's good to get a W and be able to go to practice for those guys, for Sam Pittman and for Barry Odom, all these guys that took over a program that had fallen on some really, really bad times, some really hard times, and it's got to be great to go to practice 1 week after a win and prep for
a good Auburn football team. So yeah, man, it's good to be a Razorback this week.
Clint, how do you how do you rate their ability to deal with success? Because sometimes it's harder to come off of a big win and stay focused than it is to come off of a loss. So they'll have to guard against, remembering last week and move on to an Auburn team that might be a little bit desperate.
Yeah, I mean, that's always, I think, a little bit of a crapshoot, right? Is how does your team handle winning? But after you lose 20 SEC games and you get a W, I would imagine however they handle it, it'll be better than they would have handled their 21st loss. And so I feel pretty good about it from that perspective. And I tell you, I just think that Sam Pittman, there's a lot of, I think, there's a lot of unknown with a guy that's never been a head coach. And there's certainly that present in Arkansas with Sam Pittman, man. But there's one thing that he's had a lot of, and that is success. And there's one thing that I know he does well, and that's relate to the players and really lead from a genuine and sincere spot. There's nothing fake about it. And so I just think that Sam Pittman, those kind of things, worrying about those kind of things in Arkansas, I think those are behind the program. Sam Pittman will have them ready.
I think one of the best moves that was made in the SEC this offseason was bringing Barry Odom in, though, for Sam Pittman as his defensive coordinator, because this is a guy, like you mentioned, Coach Pittman didn't have head coaching experience, but we know his name. He's had success on a lot of different levels, but Barry Odom does have that head coaching experience. So it's someone he can lean on. And last week, he did a really nice job. Mississippi State against LSU sets the SEC record, 623 yards passing. Barry Odom comes up with a game plan, 3 interceptions, and they hold Mississippi State down offensively.
Yeah, look, I think there's a couple of things that really stuck out about Barry Odom to me before he was hired. It was great to see a good defensive product put on the field, and really, just a hell of a defensive product put on the field. If you consider who the opponent was, no doubt. But when you look at Barry Odom, I think there was 2 things. You mentioned one, him being the head coach, having head coach experience before, and not only just having the head coach experience, yes, but the fact that he had head coaching experience in the SEC at one of the places with one of the programs that isn't flush with 4 and 5 stars. And so there's a very similar situation in head coaching the Missouri Tigers as it is the Arkansas Razorbacks, and with all the things that are a little bit tougher there than they are at Alabama or LSU or Georgia or Florida. And so I think not just being a head coach, but where he had head coached was big. And I think the other thing is when you talk about the defensive side of the football, again, at Missouri, when he's a defensive coordinator there, I just remember him putting great defenses on the field and always watching Missouri and going, how in the heck does Missouri jump into the SEC and the first couple of years they're putting a product on the field defensively that's giving that high-flying offense a chance to win football games. And maybe it's because my expectations were low, but as I look back on it now, I think Barry Odom was schematically putting a really, really good product on the field. He was putting guys in position to have success. And ultimately, that's the number one job for a coach, right? Put your players in position to succeed. And Barry Odom does that really, really well. He did it at Missouri. He did it at Memphis. And, he's doing it at Arkansas now.
Clint, I was trying to talk Hester into Texas A&M having a chance tomorrow against Florida, except he wasn't having any of it, and I'm not sure I believe it myself. So what kind of chance do you give the Aggies tomorrow against Florida?
I don't give them much of a chance, but I'm going to be honest with you. It would surprise me if they didn't come out and put up a fight against Florida. I think Florida, I think they win the East this year. I'm a huge fan of Dan Mullen and Brian Johnson. Those guys do. Seems like every quarterback they touch turns to gold, no matter what their skill set is. So I just believe that Florida is they've arrived, ladies and gentlemen. But when you look at Jimbo Fisher and Kellen Mond at A&M, they're flush with talent. Whether it's an up year or down year, A&M is one of those schools in the SEC where having the bodies, having the physicality, having the strength and the size is not a problem. And so it'll never surprise me if A&M goes out there and this year in 10 SEC games, if if they don't play some of their best football against the top 5 teams that they play. That'll never surprise me. I would never underestimate Jimbo Fisher. That's for dang sure. But if I'm putting my money on it, my hard-earned money on it, I'm riding with Florida, boys.
Hey, I do want to go back, Clint, to the Arkansas game this week because Chad Morris, as we know, is the offensive coordinator now at Auburn. Now, watching Auburn over the first couple of games, I still don't know what the identity of that offense is. I felt like Kentucky gave them that game. They lost the game. Auburn didn't win it. Then they get embarrassed against Georgia. Now, Georgia's got a very good defense, maybe the best in the country. But Chad Morris, knowing the personnel, right, knowing the personnel at Arkansas since he recruited most of those guys, do you think that plays a factor? Is that something that he can use to his advantage in this game?
Well, I think one thing you can take from his last year at Arkansas is he wasn't very familiar with the personnel. I mean, one thing they really struggled with was getting the most out of their guys. They really struggled with, obviously, the quarterback was a nightmare, and that's the Felipe Franks wasn't there. But I think a lot of these skilled guys are going to flourish under Kendall Briles, where I think Chad Morris ultimately got on the post-game press conference and said that a couple of different times that they just got to recruit ultimately, meaning that they didn't have the players. So, I don't know that Chad Morris knows a whole heck of a lot about what these players bring to the table where they sit today. Maybe last year, but right now I think Kendall Briles and company has them doing a lot of different things. You talk about the Chad Morris impact on this game is as I just mentioned, I think Chad did a poor job a couple of times in post-game press conferences where he really disrespected the players, threw them under the bus, and I think that'll end up being something that these players it'll be locker room bulletin board material for dang sure. I know Pittman doesn't want to talk about Chad Morris, the staff doesn't want to talk about Chad Morris, but I guarantee you when they close them doors, there's some real motivation there to put some of the comments on the board that Chad Morris said in post-game pressers, and to think that dynamic of him being the offensive coordinator for Auburn, to think that that's not going to motivate this football team in a big way, I think we'd be lying to ourselves. So, I don't know exactly about the exchanging information or have any kind of inside information on the current Arkansas players. I don't know if that's going to help. Hester, you played a lot of ball. I mean, how many times did a former coach tell you something that was that literally helped you on Saturday or Sunday versus an opponent, right? I mean, I don't know that I believe in that, but there's definitely going to be added motivation there with Morris on the Auburn sideline.
Hey, let me ask you this as a quick follow-up. How do you think that goes for Morris at Auburn? Gus Malzahn, we know he likes to call the plays every other year. He brings Morris in to call the plays. I feel like it's only a matter of time before they butt heads. That's my honest opinion on it.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time before they butt heads. I mean, maybe because they're both guys that they're power spread guys. They've got a great relationship, long history together. Maybe they can talk it out, and make the transition a little smoother than maybe a guy that's trying to climb the charts of in the coaching world and get a head coaching job. Maybe they handle it a little bit more, I think, freely than some people have in the past, but. I never have understood that, Hester. Why in the hell does Gus Malzahn keep giving up play calling duties? He struck gold with Rhett Lashley, obviously, but once Rhett Lashley left, he just hasn't been able to find that guy. And I mean, he's proven that he is really, really good at play calling in terms of that system, man. I think the biggest thing, Hester, is they don't have a quarterback. I mean, Nix is fine. He's serviceable, but in that offense, man, I'd rather have less of a thrower and just an electric athlete at that position with Swartz running sideline to sideline. Then you're on to something. But with a guy that plays the game a lot like hell I played it, not real fast, can throw it around the park a little bit, tougher than hell, that guy, he doesn't scare me in Gus's system.
Well, the thing is, Clint, he's at his best when he has a guy like you're just talking about at the quarterback position and someone who is held to tackle, and they don't have that either. And so that's what's puzzling is you don't have what makes you a good team. And I always hate when coaches just go out and they get guys because they're star chasing. Well, this guy's this amount of stars, and we got to go chase him. Look, I know Bo Nix was very talented, and his dad played at Auburn and all that type of stuff, but your offense is best when you have a Nick Marshall or when you have a Boobie Whitlow playing running back, right? That's when they're at their best. And so that surprises me that right now they don't have either one of those things.
Hester, look, I've never been a college coach, and I've never been tasked with recruiting. Although I think if you paid me $1 million+ a year to do it, I'd be pretty damn good at it. I never have understood why some of these schools, and regardless of what scheme they're in, right? I mean, you look at Florida, and you look at the University of Texas, you look at Texas A&M. I mean, all these schools. I'm naming the ones that are right here in my back pocket. But I mean, there's USC. I mean, you got the top 10 schools out there, and half the time 5 of them don't have a quarterback, right? I mean, how in the hell can they not put a plan together to where you get eight scholarship quarterbacks through over a 4-year span, and you can't hit on one of them? I mean, it blows my mind how these guys can't. Whether it's Gus Malzahn's system or it's an air raid system or I don't care what the system is, it blows my mind how these guys can't evaluate and develop quarterback play across the league when they're making so much dang money, man.
Clint, since we're talking about quarterbacks, what's your early impressions of the first 2 starts for Miles Brennan?
Oh man, it's interesting. I hadn't watched a ton of LSU film, so I don't want to. And I know y'all are down in the heart of LSU country. I don't want to piss any of them Bayou Bengals off when I travel down there on the weekend. So I hadn't watched a ton of it, man. But again, you know, he's got big time shoes to fill, and he hadn't played a whole hell of a lot of football. That's the scary thing, is that the expectations are so high right now with what they did offensively last year, and then this year, he was backed up against the wall, and then all of a sudden Chase, he opts out, and it's just one of those things where he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't, man. It's going to be a tough year for Miles Brennan because of the comp. I hadn't watched a hell of a lot of football on him, guys, so I don't like talking about QBs unless I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Well, we appreciate your time, man. Hang in there this weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
You got it, man. Y'all be good, fellas.
Thanks, Clint. Clint Stoener, former Arkansas quarterback, and now doing radio in Houston for 610 over in Houston.
I told you, Clint is going to tell you exactly what he's thinking.
Yeah.
I love it about him.
Completely honest, right down the middle.
And Chad Morris left a bad taste in a lot of Arkansas Razorbacks, and I know it wasn't his doing that he left, but like Clint mentioned, the press conferences throwing players under the bus, not taking it, and saying, no, hey, this is like. Okay, you see the National Coach of the Year, Coach O, take blame for the first loss of the season. Now, we know who was calling plays. We know who was out there making the plays, right? Well, Coach O, no, a good coach is, hey, that one's on me. This is my team, and they were not ready to play. Chad Morris last year just throwing guys under the bus. And when a former player at that school hears that, it's going to be tough for him to get back in the good graces.
Some guys are good coordinators and not good head coaches. It happens sometimes. Take a break. We'll do first class, second class, no class when we return. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, brought to you by Garcia Roofing. As we've been telling you over the last couple of days, all hands are on deck for emergency tarping and storm inspections as soon as it's safe to do so. But look, right now we've had some rain. We're probably going to get more later. If you notice that there is a problem, that is something that Garcia can come and fix. Do not think it's too small of a project for them to come fix a roof leak. That is something that they do, and Hanny, they're going to do it, and they're going to do it the best with that Garcia guarantee.
You can call them 756-3100 here in Baton Rouge, but you can also go to the website. You can fill out a callback request. You can also go to their Facebook page, info@GarciaDidMyRoof.com. Roof now, pay later. And, of course, they're helping you get through here with Hurricane Delta. Again, it's 756-3100 in Baton Rouge, or online. You can go to GarciaDidMyRoof.com.
Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
The winner is the dog with antioxidant vitamin C.
Given the choice, why wouldn't you choose the one with antioxidant vitamin C? Choose Vizzy Hard Seltzer.
When you want the best of Louisiana, you don't go to a superstore. We know what we like, and we like it local. Same goes for banking. As one of Louisiana's largest local banks, we offer homegrown services crafted around you. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you.
Coming up on Mondays Off the Bench, we recap the weekend. How did LSU look in their final tune-up game pre-Florida? Biggest takeaways from the SEC? We'll preview Saints Chargers on Monday night and give you our weekend winners. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. First class.
I want a seat in first class where I was booked and ticketed over a month ago.
Second class.
That no man should be subjected to the indignity of being labeled or treated like a second-class citizen.
And no class.
My life had become like school on Sunday. No class.
I'll tell you what then. Why don't you call me sometime when you have no class?
First class, second class, no class, brought to you by Relief Telemed. For businesses that have frequent interaction with the public, restaurants, retail stores, service-based businesses that can't afford to shut down or send home employees. Relief's COVID mitigation platform takes the hassle, chaos, and stress out of having your employees tested for COVID. The process starts with a video visit with a physician and ends with a custom action plan for every employee. And through a dashboard, you'll know exactly when your employees can come back to work. They offer both on-site and off-site testing options, and they work for you as well.
Absolutely right. They had our walk-ons in Shreveport back up and running. No missed days. That is so important, obviously, anytime, but especially during this time. We've told you LSU, not only here in Baton Rouge, but Alexandria as well. The Santa Ana School District out in California, they use Relief Telemed. Your business, your team should as well. ReliefTelemed.com.
All right, first class. I'm gonna lead off today. You all right? You all right with that? I think you're gonna be okay with that when I tell you what my first class is.
Okay, we'll see.
Through 5 games in the playoffs, the Atlanta Braves pitchers have given up a total of 5 runs. That is an ERA of .92 because one of those games went 13 innings. In 59 innings pitched, they have given up only 5 runs. They've given up only 30 hits. They've walked 9 and struck out 59. That's a whip of .8. They're not even allowing a base runner per inning. They're striking out 6 times as many as they are walking, and they have allowed runs in only 1 of the 5 games that they have played. The most dominant pitching performance I ever saw in the postseason was Oral Hershiser. When Oral Hershiser was with the Dodgers. Basically, they rode him to the World Series. One of the weakest hitting teams that's ever won a world title. They rode one starting pitcher, and he had the longest scoreless streak in Major League history at that point. This is 9 different guys that haven't given up a run in 5 games. Of the 11 pitchers that have pitched so far in the playoffs for the Braves, only 2 of them have given up runs at all. You can't do any better than that. That's my first class. And I'm not pandering to you just because you've been watching the Braves here for 3 days.
Just keep that up because my first class has to do with the Braves a little bit as well. Okay, so y'all know that I am all about getting baseball a younger crowd, getting them a little bit different viewership because I don't want baseball to die. I love baseball. It's an older viewership. I understand that. And I'm okay with some of the bat flips. I'm okay with something that you do that some people might throw at you the next at bat for, okay? Well, Trevor Bauer from the Reds, speaking of that series, well, when he walked off the mound, because he was dominating that game, well, he did a little tomahawk chop himself. A lot of people got mad at that. They asked Freddie Freeman, who's going to be the NL MVP, about it, right? Okay, well, Freddie's response, yeah, we noticed everything he did. That's fine. He had a great performance. He can do whatever he wants when he strikes out 12 over 7 2/3. It doesn't bother us. We just got to go out there and get hits. If I pitched like that, I'd probably chop off the mound as well. Thank you. If you do that, the one thing, if you want him to stop chopping, go get some hits. Just like if you don't want the guy to celebrate a touchdown dance, you know what? Tackle him before he gets in the end zone. So there you go, Freddie Freeman. I like that.
All right. Are we done with the Braves part of the program?
Actually,
Paul
really
O'Neill's
like
over there, he's smiling from ear to ear.
If you had to take a poll, real quick, if you had to take a poll in Baton Rouge, and I know the Astros have picked up steam because of Breggs and some other stuff. If you took a poll, it would be between the Astros, Cubs, and Braves probably as far as fan
I'll throw
base.
the Yankees in there just because they're the Yankees. There's a lot of Yankee fans. But, yeah, those
you would
4.
know way better than I do. Only Yankees fan I know, even in my life, is Moscona. That's the only one I know.
There's a lot of them.
Right.
There's a lot of them. They're the Yankees. And if you're Moscona's age, then when you were growing up, you saw the Yankees win 4 titles in 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, they picked up so many fans, and then you got people that
Did
are
you
closer.
just call him a front runner?
No. I'm saying that if you grew up and you were watching that team, then it would have been easy to root for them. The Braves, because people my age that grew up watching them when they were the only team on cable, and if you lived somewhere different, we didn't get WGN, but if you grew up watching the Cubs, and then the Astros are the closest team. So I would say those 4 for sure. Second class, good with a chance to be great. The Miami Hurricanes have been very, very good. Kind of knocked the rust off after a sluggish first half against UAB and won that game. Big offensive performance against Louisville in that win on the road. And then they absolutely embarrassed Florida State last week, or 2 weeks ago, I should say. They've hung 99 points on the board in the last 2 games, so right at half 100. You've been very good. Those 3 teams that you played, well, UAB's actually 3-1, so I shouldn't say that. Maybe they're not all that. They're certainly not Clemson. You have been good. All you can do is play who they put in front of you. Now they're going to put Clemson in front of you. I said earlier in the week my second class was Tennessee. You've been good. Now you got a chance to be great. You got a chance to beat a really good team. Miami, same boat. You've been good. You want to be great. You got a chance tomorrow. You got Clemson. If you beat them, you get everybody's attention. So my second class, Miami Hurricanes.
I agree with you there. Even if they are competitive in this game and it's a competitive game late, that feels like a big win for Miami and really for the ACC. All right, I know where I'm at. I realize what market I'm in, so I'll keep mine short, but this excites me, okay? The United States men's national team has 10 players who are all under the age of 25 that are on Champions League rosters. If you don't know what Champions League is, it is one of the biggest tournaments in the world in soccer. It's all of Europeans' best clubs, and the ones that finish in certain positions in their league, they get invited to Champions League, and they duel it out to see who the best team in Europe is that year. The United States team has never had this many top-tier players in Europe. It's a gigantic deal for soccer in our country. I realize I'm going to get some hate messages for this, but there is 10 players, and so good with a chance to be great. I feel like if we started to do some of these things, maybe more people would get interested. I know a lot of people like to watch when the World Cup is on, if USA makes a little bit of a run. So hopefully this young core will get them to that point.
I'm glad you said soccer, because when you said all of those players that were under the age of, what did you say, 25 on that, I thought you were talking about basketball. So I'm glad you clarified there.
We're talking about Barcelona. We're talking about Chelsea, Juventus, Man City, Dortmund, Bayern Munich, some of the biggest clubs in the world. Somebody will appreciate that.
Go USA.
Thank you.
I'm all for it. My no class, I'm going back to something I said at the beginning of this show. I don't know that there's any more important statistic in football than turnovers. And if you win the turnover battle, you win about 65% of the time. If you win the turnover battle 5-0, and 2 of those turnovers result in touchdowns, your chances of losing are almost zero. Almost zero. Tulane last night got 5 turnovers. They turned 2 of them into defensive touchdowns. They took a 24-7 lead. And not only did they lose, they lost going away. They lost by 18 points. We watch as much football as anybody on planet Earth. Hess, you start watching football tomorrow and you watch nothing but game after game after game after game, 7 days a week, you might go years before you see a +5 turnover team lose a game. Tulane, come on, man. I mean, come on, man. No class, whatever you want to call it. That was just ugly last night. And against a team that hadn't played a game yet.
Yeah, a game that hasn't even been in the thick of it yet. Like, no adversity. They just kind of get their games canceled.
I don't know how you do
practice.
That was hard to do what they did last night. That statistically, it's almost impossible. Almost.
All right, so my no class actually goes to something that we've already talked about in this show. With 1 minute and 13 seconds left, you think Tom Brady getting the ball against the Bears, he's going to lead them down there and get a field goal?
4.
Okay, well, you also need to know what down it is. And he came out after the game and he said, I was focusing on the yards, not the first down. That was the wrong approach. Now, the wrong approach was not knowing what down it was. And it's okay. Look, if you messed up, just own up to it. And Bruce Arians come out and said, oh, he knew what down it was. And Tom's like, I knew it down. He didn't.
No.
You sat out there with a blank look on your face looking, why is everybody walking off the field holding up 4 fingers?
Or
what in the world else could that mean? And the way you threw the ball and where you threw it, that tells me as well that you thought it was 3rd down. Because if not, you check it down, you get the first down, you come up and you spike it. This isn't just because it's Tom Brady. Any quarterback, veteran, rookie, peewee, whatever, you're the leader. We follow you. Hey, bud, you got to know what down it is. And so the greatest quarterback of all time thought that it was a 5-down situation. That was a hard 5. He didn't think it was a situation where he only got 4 plays. That, to me, no class.
Wow. Of all the people, you just don't expect him to do that.
It's like Michael Jordan messing up in a situation that's that he's like, just doesn't happen. It's like him having already 4 fouls and he fouls somebody because he thinks he has 1 to give,
or dribbling out the shot clock when they've got to have a last-second shot,
like
not getting the shot off. We'll take a break. Peter Burns, when we come back, hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
I can't tell you how many people tried to discourage me when I said, I'm opening up a haunted house. If you love doing something, don't let anything or anyone stand in your way.
How he comes up with this stuff in his head and designs it is mind-boggling.
Debbie and Home Bank understand my business and understand that it's not normal. They've worked with me since the beginning to help my business grow.
All right, man, what do you want to watch? Football
or football?
Let's go with football.
Football it is.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
T-Bob Abear here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At Corbell Toyota in Opelousas, you can get...
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. It's a football Friday. Phil Steele joins us. The Riot Radio Hour, our celebrity guest picker. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back in. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richard Tana. Going to welcome on to the show a guy who's got to be out in about 3 minutes, and so do we. Peter Burns of the SEC Network. You know him, you love him, you don't need the introduction. Peter, how are you?
I like it. It's all business. Rapid fire week 3. This is how we do it. Very efficient here on the show.
All right, so here we go. We've got 7 games. I'm going to say the game. You tell me who wins, and you can give like 3 words about why they're going to win after. Sound good?
Got it.
All right, here we go.
Anyway.
Florida at Texas A&M.
Kellen Mond still doesn't take the next step, and Jimbo Fisher starts 1-2. I'm going Florida, actually surprisingly easily as well too. Maybe by 21.
I agree with you there. South Carolina at Vanderbilt.
South Carolina, this is a game that Will Muschamp has to have, and Vanderbilt's way too banged up. Gamecocks by at least 2 touchdowns.
Tennessee at Georgia.
Tennessee is Diet Georgia. Like, that's what they are right now. They're not good enough for it. And I think Georgia's defense is unbelievable. And I think Garantano really struggles in this game. I've got Georgia by double digits.
I'm stealing that. Arkansas at Auburn. I like this game, by the way.
No, I feel bad for the Gus bust. But, I mean, again, no KJ Britt. I think Arkansas actually pulls off the upset in this one. Who would have thought we're talking about Arkansas being 2-1 and A&M being 1-2 at this point?
With wins over Auburn and the team that beat the national champs. Yeah, exactly. 2020.
Normal.
Let's go Mississippi State at Kentucky. A little pressure in this game.
Zero clue. I have no clue. Flip a coin. It doesn't. I have no idea. That's my analysis of this game. Either one of them could win this game. So naturally, that means Mike Leach will probably go ahead and get it done.
Alabama at Ole Miss.
Well, a whooping, a good old-fashioned ass whooping. I mean, not because of Lane or anything like
Right.
that. It's just, Saban's got all of those coordinators back, and I think that's such a huge deal for him. Even the weather's not going to matter. Lane and they're going to struggle to score 25 points on Bama. Bama puts another 50-burger up.
They put robots in the batteries in the robots, and they just go out there and they win football games. Yeah. All right, Mizzou.
Cyborg.
Yeah, Missouri at LSU, even though it's not at LSU technically, it's in Como.
Yeah, I mean, this should be all LSU. I mean, another week that Missouri is not going to be at 100%. And I just hope that it looks easier for LSU. I mean, even last week I felt like it was the Tigers that were able to out-athlete Vanderbilt, but it still at some point it didn't look smooth. But to me, I think it gets better in every single week, and I still got Tigers, the good one, the Baton Rouge one, by 14 points in this one.
All right, 15 seconds. I know you've got to go. Go back to the first game, Florida at Texas A&M. If A&M does get embarrassed like we both think they're going to yet again, what's the conversation like on Monday?
I mean, the conversation is the same that it's been on this offseason in the last couple of weeks, but the difference is that it makes the conversation for 2021 a whole hell of a lot harder going forward.
All right, see? It was rapid. It was fun. It was the guy you love, Peter Burns. We need to, just do that, maybe once a week. Just have you on and have, 30 seconds.
Just rapid fire, no real analysis, just stream of punches, BS college football talk. I'm in.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Foundation failure is common in South Louisiana, and that's why homeowners here turn to a local company they can trust, WCK Foundation Repair.
WCK is the only company that specializes in drilled piers, the ideal solution for Louisiana's unique soil conditions. WCK is locally owned and operated by a group of professionals with years of experience.
Learn more about the signs of foundation failure on WCKFoundationRepair.com. Call for a free estimate. WCK Foundation Repair. Support the home team.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
Good afternoon. I'm Steve Lennox. The New York Jets with a player testing positive for the coronavirus. Players and coaches sent home this morning from the team's facility. The team conducting virtual meetings. That from ESPN's Adam Schefter. Jets scheduled to host the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday. Arizona GM Steve Keim today with Arizona Sports 98.7 FM said all plans are the same until someone tells us to change. Buccaneers confirming defensive tackle Vita Vea suffering a broken ankle in Thursday night's loss against the Bears. Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy announcing today left tackle Tyron Smith will have neck surgery next week, out for the season. Heat Lakers Game 5 NBA Finals tonight. LeBron Thursday on Laker fans.
Well, one, what I've learned being a Laker is that the Laker faithful don't give a damn what you've done before. Until you become a Laker, you got to do it with them as well. They don't care about your resume at all until you become a Laker, and then you got to do it as a Laker, and then they respect you.
And LeBron can add a fourth title to his resume tonight. Game 5 coverage at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC TV and ESPN Radio.
You need the best coverage, and not just football, but your wireless network too. Straight Talk Wireless gives you the same networks as big carriers for up to half the cost. $45 a month for 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hour number 3, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. 11:30 The Tiger in Shreveport, CST, and our YouTube page, 104.5 ESPN, and the Hanging with Hester and Hanny page. You go back and get some of the previous interviews from today. We had Clint Stoener on earlier today, Ivan Maisel on earlier today, and coming up here in just a little bit is Chris Plank from the Oklahoma Radio Network and also from Sirius Radio. In the meantime, let's play a little NFL true or false as we go into week number 6 in the NFL. All right, true or false? The Jets will be better with Joe Flacco at quarterback than Sam Darnold.
False. You're never going to hear me say anything nice about Joe Flacco. He's a great human being, actually, but he threw a Hail Mary against us in the playoffs and knocked us out of the playoffs. Therefore, I will not say anything nice about Joseph Flacco.
So this is a very measured and researched opinion on Flacco.
Yes.
Actually, what I was going for is quarterback, one of the Jets' problems. The Jets have any number of problems.
I really don't think it is. I think that there's talent there. I think if he was given a better foundation, that Sam Darnold would be a nice NFL quarterback. Never going to be a star. I've not seen that from him, but he could be a nice NFL starter. But he's just not given anything right now.
Nor do I think that at this stage of his career, Joe Flacco would be any savior either. But the crux of it is quarterback one of the Jets' biggest problems. All right, so you say no. All right, along a similar vein, the Washington football team will be better off with Kyle Allen at quarterback than Dwayne Haskins.
True.
Haskins was at the bottom of every statistical category that you can get. I don't know that they're going to be a good football team. Haskins was struggling. Daniel Jones is struggling with the Giants similarly. You could make a case that either one of them could be replaced. My thing was, is Alex Smith healthy? He's healthy enough to make the team, right?
He's on the roster. Active.
Yeah.
I mean, 53-man roster, so yes.
So even at his age, which we're talking about, what, 37, I think, or 38?
Yeah, because he was actually young, very young when he came into the NFL.
Aren't you better off with him? I mean, I know he's a better quarterback than Kyle Allen if he's healthy. That was my only question. When
you see yesterday at the football teams, you know what they called their practice. Dwayne Haskins got 0 reps.
Well, he's 13. They moved him all the way down.
Well, the practice squad guy got reps, and he didn't. Bad body language, to say the least. There's a video out there. This could be a situation. Remember when RG3 was kind of held hostage a little bit after he lost his job, and they wouldn't really get rid of him? This seems like going back. I think you had Daniel Snyder in your no class at some point over last month. Another situation.
He could be pretty much. This is another case where the coach probably wanted to play a different quarterback, and the owner or the GM won't let him. We saw it in Chicago. Yeah. They shoved Mitchell Trubisky, down their throat. Well, okay. You saw it last night. Nick Foles is a much better option for them. Finally, it was obvious. True or false? The Houston Texans will get their first win of the season on Sunday. They play Jacksonville.
True. I actually think they'll cover the spread.
I think they're going to win as well. I think there probably was more bad blood with Bill O'Brien than
how can it not be?
The story came out this week that J.J. Watt and he had gone nose to nose and toes to toes. Well, there's 2 guys on that roster that you got to have if you're going to lead.
Well, there's 3, but you got rid of one of them.
Right. J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson, I mean, you got to get along with those 2 guys.
Yes.
Those are your leaders, and you got crossways with them. That's where you lose
Where do you think he ends up, college or professional football? He had success at Penn State.
He had success with the Texans as a coach.
Yeah.
He won 4 division titles. It's not like he accomplished nothing. They won a couple of playoff games. I think he probably stays in the NFL, but I can promise you this, wherever he goes next will be as a football coach with 0. You don't get to shop for any of the groceries, okay? You don't get to shop for the appetizers, the main course, dessert, the to-go box, nothing. We will provide you with football players. Right. You go coach them. You're not even allowed on premises on draft day. And you don't get to go into the war room. We're not giving you a phone code. You're out. Go play golf. Just get out. True or false, this Sunday will be the final start of the season, barring injury, for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
True. It feels like last week. Now, he's going against the Seahawks, but they were depleted. But it felt like last week, okay, anything that you had left in this season, because it seems like it's about 6 games to usually start the season for him, it's worn off. Let's go ahead. Let's make the move. Because you're seeing other rookie quarterbacks. You're seeing Joe Burrow. You're seeing Justin Herbert not only play well, but really thriving so far in this early season. Go ahead and get your guy a head start. Allow him to go through some growing pains with that roster if that's what there's going to be, which we assume because of the roster makeup right now. So, yeah, let it be 2 a time in Miami.
True or false, the Cleveland Browns are better on offense than the Indianapolis Colts are on defense?
This is a really good one. I'm going to say true this week because Leonard, the linebacker for the Colts, is out. He is such a dynamic playmaker, not only for the Colts. He might be one of the best linebackers in the NFL. So this week, I'll say true. But if they are full strength, I would take the Colts by a little bit. There's a lot of firepower on the Browns team if they all come together at the right time.
Colts top scoring defense in the league. Browns 4th best scoring offense in the league. So statistically, they're at or near the top.
Right.
True or false? If the Cowboys win this week, they become the favorites to win the NFC least. They play the Giants.
Can I say who cares? Is that an option?
I'll tell you who
it's
should.
Such a bad.
I'll tell you who should care.
I'll say false though.
Okay, I'll tell you who should care is the wild card team that's going to end up with a better record than the NFC East champion that's going to have to travel. This has happened to the Saints before. When they happened
to me before.
They were
upside.
Oh, you got the home game.
Yeah, I got the home game.
Saints were, I want to say, 11-5 when they went to the 7-9 Seahawks. Yeah. That was the beast mode game. All right, so whoever ends up
when Marshawn Lynch put the whole team on his back.
There's going to be there's going to be a wild card that's going to have a better record than them and is going to have to travel. And
the Eagles showed me something last week, though. I mean, I know that the 49ers were down a couple of bodies, including Jimmy G. I understand that, but there was some fight for the Eagles. They've got pieces. They've got an okay roster. They've won a Super Bowl with the current head coach that they have. Now, the quarterback's a little bit different. That's been the big question mark. Miles Sanders is a good running back, so they've got some juice to them, but they've just been disappointing. I think that's the team at the end of the day that wins the NL East.
True.
Yes, we're saying least on purpose.
True or false? It's going to be really hard for Joe Burrow to get out of bed on Monday and play the Ravens with that offensive line.
It's hard for him to get out of bed every Monday so far.
Did you? I know you caught him.
That was so good.
Mic'd up last week. It was some fun stuff to listen to.
Yeah, the referee's like, "Hey, if you're going down, you go ahead and get all the way down, so we know and we can protect you." And Joe's like, "Yeah, hey, I learned my lesson over the last couple of weeks. I ain't taking no more hits like that."
I looked at that. I'm like, and look, I know they got to play them twice a year, every year, but
actually, that's a team that historically actually play pretty decent.
Yeah, I wasn't saying it from a standpoint of win the game or not win the game. It's just
he's gonna take a beating.
That Ravens front. I mean, I hurt for him way over here on the other end of the country. It's like, man, can you just sit this one out? Can you play Baltimore next year?
If he goes out and he has a good day, if he's 20 of 27 for 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions against the Ravens, I think that just shows you how much over normal rookies he really is. Just mental preparation and everything that he does.
I don't think anybody's questioning his toughness up there based on what's happened in the first 4 games. So now you can you survive with that offensive line against that defense? Yikes. NFL True or False brought to you by Supreme Rice, supremerice.com down in Crowley, Louisiana. Listen, they got some tough times coming in Southwest Louisiana with the second hurricane in 6 weeks barreling down on them. You want to help out Louisiana farmers? Buy Supreme Rice. All Supreme Rice milled, grown, and processed in Southwest Louisiana. You want to support Louisiana farmers? This is one way that you can do it. And, of course, it's delicious. Supreme Rice in your etouffees and your stews, just a little rice and gravy. Whether it's the long grain or the brown or the jasmine rice, it's easy to get. You pick it up at all Walmarts, at Costco's, all of your AG food stores. Most of them now have the 5-pound bags. Make a big pot of something to get you through the weekend and kind of ride the storm out. Supreme Rice, for more information and for great recipes, unique stuff, go to supremerice.com. We'll take a break. When we come back,
Chris Plank, Sirius XM,
thank you.
Oklahoma Sooners Radio
Thank
Network.
you. When we come back, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
All right, Tiger fans, as a former LSU student athlete, I can tell you how much the Tiger Athletic Foundation means to our success, not only on the field, but in the classroom as well. As you know, LSU Athletics is one of the very few programs in the nation who has remained self-sufficient in its operations. But in this 2020 year, as y'all all know as well, LSU Athletics is facing unforeseen adversity. Due to the restrictions around COVID-19, the loss of essential revenue to LSU Athletics will be in the tens of millions of dollars. This is a good time to remind ourselves that we're Tigers and our go never stops. We have to keep going. LSU and the Tiger Athletic Foundation is urging everyone to donate to the Victory Fund to keep LSU student athletes going. The Victory Fund will provide financial support for the most critical areas of need, including scholarships, healthcare, and academic support for student athletes. Your support is critical for the future of LSU athletics. To learn more information and donate, please visit victory.lsutaf.org.
Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
I'm feeling good. I just thought you should know.
This is it, what smart customers wait for all year. The Richards Honda Trade-In, Trade-Up event. Right now, get more money for your trade and a great price on something new. That's a win-win. Only at richardshonda.com. The smart choice.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a RAV4 for $3,000 off MSRP. That's right, $3,000 off MSRP. And we have plenty in stock. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Upgrading your ride is as easy as richardshonda.com during the Trade-In, Trade-Up event. It's a once-a-year event with great prices on every vehicle in stock. So trade up today. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
This is Charles Hanagriff. Join Jacob Hester and I for the next edition of Hangin with Hester and Hanny as we get you ready for LSU and Missouri and a big SEC football weekend. We'll also have the latest on Hurricane Delta. Hangin with Hester and Hanny, noon weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Chris Plank is with us from Sirius Radio and the Oklahoma Sooners radio network. Chris, good afternoon.
Hanny, what's going on, man? Thanks to you and Jacob for having me on today, even though it's not the most exciting OU start to the season, but appreciate you still acknowledging us in Big 12 here.
Well, tell me about Spencer Rattler, because if you just look down the stats, he's completing 73% of his passes. It's about 10.5 yards per attempt, 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. None of that looks really bad, but if you've watched the games, the interceptions have come at just crushing times. How would you rate his start?
Yeah, it's very interesting because it reminds me in some ways of Jalen last year, because if you looked at Jalen's numbers, you thought, not so bad. But it just seemed as if every turnover he made or had was at a crushing moment for this team. So, unfortunately, that's carried over this year with Spencer. But here's the difference. Spencer he's an electric thrower. You know, I know this sounds corny, and I've said it a lot, and people are probably tired of hearing it. But the ball just comes out of his hand differently. Don't know how to describe it. Don't know how to quantify it. But that's just happened. So what's happening right now is something Oklahoma hasn't had to worry about in a long time. You have a very inexperienced quarterback. You have a redshirt freshman there, and he's making redshirt freshman mistakes. You know, just one quick thing. In the Iowa State game, on the very last pass of the game that he threw, that was intercepted, he had a guy underneath that was coming wide open. His tight end, Austin Stockton, was wide open, no one near him. Would have been a nice little 10, 15-yard gain, but what does he do? He goes for the big play. So these are things that, as time progresses, he'll learn. But, man, I'm excited about his future. I think he's going to be something pretty special, but it might take him a while to get there.
Chris, I kind of want to know what the feeling is around Norman. You lose a couple of games. Oklahoma just doesn't do that. If they lose any in the regular season, it's one at most. And we experienced this a little bit, obviously, at LSU because Mississippi State came in. They beat LSU in week one, and it had been a long time since LSU had lost a football game. But it didn't feel like I thought it would feel. And I think it's because it's the 2020 season. There's so much uncertainty already. Was it kind of the same feeling in Norman?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Only the Sooners backed that up with another L. So that kind of took everything from – I don't know. Are DEFCON levels, it's worse as you get higher or lower? So you went from like whatever as a
I think one's the worst, right?
Okay, there you go. So we went from about DEFCON 3 to DEFCON 1 in the span of one more loss. So anyway, yeah, it's – not well. Is that a good way to put how fans are handling it right now? Not well at all, Jacob, because I think there was a lot of belief that even though you're replacing, and listen, I don't have to tell you guys about replacing star power, but even though you're replacing first-round picks and Mike linebacker and a wide receiver and a guy that ended up going in the second round of quarterback, and you had your best defensive player, basically he's been suspended for a drug-related issue, though they may get him back tomorrow, and Ronnie Perkins. You had two other offensive starters that got suspended. You had your best running back opt-out. You had your best interior defensive lineman opt-out. Even though all this happened, there's this, hey, we're going to be fine. We reload. And I hate to keep going back to this, but it's just you got a redshirt freshman quarterback. You don't have a guy that either has had some experience somewhere else that has been in the system for 2 or 3 years. He's coming in, and everything is new to him. So that's been one issue that I think has been hard for people to kind of come to grips with. But no, the best answer to your question, how are people handling it? Not well. And if they lose tomorrow, oh my gosh, I might take a 2-week vacation before the TCU game because it's already brutal enough around here right now.
Well, Chris, that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on. The Red River Shootout is this weekend. A lot of people know that game, obviously, no matter where you live in the country, and it's an opportunity to get back on the right track. And really, more than just Oklahoma, the entire Big 12, everyone outside of one team already having a loss. I think that so far in this college football season has probably been the most surprising thing because even teams like Iowa State, they lose out of the gates to Louisiana Lafayette, and there's just been some losses that are hard to explain.
Yeah, and then Oklahoma State is the one undefeated team. But if Tulsa, my alma mater, by the way, is halfway competent during that game, they might win by 3 scores. And then Oklahoma State looked less than stellar in its opener against West Virginia and got the Big 12 equivalent of a Vanderbilt game in playing Kansas. So even Oklahoma State's 3-0 is not that impressive, right? I mean, I know some people in Stillwater, it's great. You're 3-0. Oklahoma's 1-2. Texas is 2-1. You're leading the Big 12. But I'm thinking that this conference is going to have a bunch of 2-loss teams. So in other words, I guess the way to put it, we're not going to be in the championship picture. I mean, it's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. Oklahoma State's not running the table. Oklahoma's rally will be with 2 losses if it happens. Texas's will be with 1. It's not going to happen this year. But it's unfortunate because I do think, and I'm not just saying this to try to make last week look good, I do think Iowa State's a pretty good football team, right? And if they just would have been halfway competent against Louisiana, they might be in a different situation right now. But, yeah, this is not shaping up to be that kind of year for the Big 12 where they're going to end up in the playoff conversation unless, I don't know, Jacob, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but is there the possibility that you reach a point whenever the Pac-12 starts playing that the 4-team playoff committee gets together and says, let's be an 8-team playoff this year? I think if you start hearing a massive push from Big 12 country for playoff expansion, you know why. It's because we've all kind of wet the bed and we're trying to find a way to still get into this party. But yeah, it's kind of been tough to find a lot of bright spots right now in the Big 12 with the way that opening weekend went for them.
You do know what needs to happen to spur that conversation, don't you? It's got nothing to do with the Pac-12. All that's got to happen is Ohio State's got to lose a game. Then you'll hear
right.
all over the place. Chris Plank is our guest. Chris, one thing we know about the game tomorrow is it's not going to end up 13-10. Both of these teams score plenty and give up plenty. Give me your read on the Oklahoma defense as opposed to a year ago.
Well, it started out really good. That'll if they could just play Missouri State every week, we'd be in great shape right now. It's wild because that's a little bit unfair of me. They've played 2.5 really good quarters of defensive football in their last 2 games. The problem is that quarter and a half when things fall apart, where do they fall apart? You know, they held Iowa State, I think it was like less than 2 yards per carry in the first half of that game last week. And in the third quarter alone, they averaged 9 yards per play. The week before against Kansas State, they're up 35-14 and they're dominating. And then all of a sudden, Kansas State hits one big play and you see the air go out of the balloon. So they're a defense that is still – they're understanding what Alex Grinch wants. They have what they call an effort-based defense. They call it Speed D. But the problem is a lot of these guys that he's recruited, you know, these names like Joshua Eaton and the Bryson Washingtons of the world, they haven't been able to practice, right? I mean, either contact tracing or, you know, the lack of true fall ball. So they've gone with the experienced guys that have been there. And let's just say you saw what happened in the 4-team playoff with some of those guys. The same guys are back. It's not going any better. So they've got to get Ronnie Perkins back. You know, Ronnie has been out. He was one of the 3 guys suspended before the playoff, and he had failed a drug test. As had the other 2, Ramondre Stevenson and Ramondre Stevenson and Tracy Bridges. But, you know, Ronnie, he went through a separate kind of appeals process, and apparently he's been granted his eligibility back. The problem is there hasn't been like a yes, he's playing, or no, he's not for this week. So you get him back. He gives you a dynamic player on the edge. You start allowing some of these younger guys to get more reps. And by a tackle, I mean, guys, you want to see a defensive player triggered. Show him some Oklahoma football defensive backs trying to tackle against Iowa State. It was embarrassing. So I know that sounds like a lot because it is a lot, but there's no way they can be as bad defensively as they've shown in the second half of these last 2 games because you have the evidence of how good they were in the first half of those 2 games.
Chris, always appreciate having you on. One of the biggest games that a lot of us look forward to, Red River Shootout every single year because you know it's going to be between bitter rivals, even though this year it's going to look a little different. Texas State Fair is going to be empty. We're not going to have a stadium that's half burnt orange, half maroon. It's going to look completely different. This is going to be one of those games where you turn it on, you're like, wait a minute, yeah, this is 2020 for sure.
25,000 fans in. They're not opening the fair. Well, they're having limited access. They're creating kind of like a mobile midway. So they're trying to do something, but it's guys, it's going to be so weird. You know, last week at Iowa State, and I know we got to go, but last week at Iowa State it was odd because you walk in the stadium, you're getting ready for kickoff, and there's all these people sitting around and they're just silent. You know, they're just kind of sitting there and looking at each other. Now, unfortunately, they found a reason to cheer names eventually, but it's so weird. I can't wait to get there because it's still low, but it's going to be so different than anything we've ever experienced.
Chris, we appreciate your time. Enjoy the football weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, guys, I really appreciate you having me on. Have a great rest of your show and call anytime.
Appreciate it. Chris Plank from the LSUand Radio Network.
Yeah,
and
I said
from
maroon.
Sirius.
I'm probably going to get hate messages. Crimson and burnt orange. I apologize. Not maroon.
You could have just said red if you really wanted to make some people mad.
No, you're exactly right.
Our picks when we come back, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Tiger Air, a independent dealer of the American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning System. If you have any damage that is caused by the hurricane, be sure to call at Tiger Air. Contact them to get your units replaced. You know, one of the parts of the priority service that they preach so much is not just your yearly, twice-a-year maintenance, but also the ability, if anything ever does go wrong with your unit, you get priority service to get it replaced. And if you've ever had your air conditioner out when it's just scorching hot outside, you know what we're talking about.
You're exactly right. And that emergency service, I mean, look, in South Louisiana, there's a lot of times that we have emergencies. That's just the weather patterns that we have. And Haney mentioned it. The last thing you want to do is be in any part of Louisiana and not have your AC unit running like it's supposed to be running. So you're going to get emergency service, priority service, all those things with the Comfort Assurance Protection Plan. You can check it out fully at tiger-air.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
They are exactly the same.
They're identical. Actually, they're not. House 2 also has antioxidant vitamin C.
Antioxidant?
Then we'll take House 2.
Given the choice, why wouldn't you choose the one with antioxidant vitamin C? Choose Vizzy Hard Seltzer.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thank.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. It's a football Friday. Phil Steele joins us. The Riot Radio Hour, our celebrity guest picker. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Picks time. Good week last week. And you know what? We're going to do good again this week. I got a good feeling about these picks. And they're brought to you by the official beer of Hanging with Hester and Hanny, Coors Light, and also from Coors Light, the new Blue Moon Light Sky. You know, I had a chance to try this for the first time just recently. If you like Blue Moon, this is Blue Moon with a little bit of a lighter taste. It's a wheat beer, but you know, if you ever have Blue Moon, you're gonna put an orange in it, right? You know, on the garnished glass. Well, they brew these with the real tangerine peels in it, so you can really taste it without before you even put the garnish on it. It's only 95 calories, so pick you up a Blue Moon Light Sky for the games this weekend. I got plenty, believe me.
As y'all know, I love my Coors Light. Fell in love with it long before I ended up in the Rockies, but fell even more in love with it after I was in the Rockies there. Coors Light, lagered, filtered, and packaged. You can always count on Coors Light.
And the new slim cans are coming very, very soon for Coors Light. So our picks last week, 5-1 for me, 4-2 for you. How we doing on the year?
I'll get that out.
Okay, I didn't mean to. I'll start. How's that?
Well, I was hoping not to, have to share. I think we should actually, since since you had such a great week, we should remind people like exactly what you did. So I'll do that now.
Okay.
All right.
The prior week I was 1-5, so it's like 500 for the last 2 weeks, right?
All right. So you liked the Colts -2.5 versus the Bears. That was a hit.
Yep.
Georgia -6.5 versus Auburn. That one absolutely hit.
Yep.
Over 61.5 Ole Miss versus Kentucky. Another hit. South Carolina +17.5 at Florida. A win.
Got in the back door there.
SMU +3 versus Memphis. They won the game outright. Over 57 Falcons and Packers. You missed that one. Total was 46. Brings your total for the week to 5-1. For the year, 14-15, 48%.
Okay.
All right.
Get over the Mendoza line this week.
All right, so for me, I hit on Seahawks -6.5 against the Dolphins. Hit on the Bills -3 against the Raiders. I hit on the missed on the over 64 Texas Tech versus K-State. I did hit on the over, however, Louisiana Tech versus BYU. South Carolina +17.5 at Florida, and Mizzou +13 at Tennessee was another loss for me. So I ended up 4-2 on the weekend. So my totals are 14-16 on the year.
You know, we benefited from some line movements that we didn't have to deal with. You on that Friday night over, and me on SMU actually went off as a favorite by the time they actually kicked the ball. But when we did the show, they were an underdog. All right, since we spent some time talking about the Red River, look, in this game, Texas has scored 155 points in 3 games. So they're scoring over 50 a game. They're giving up over 30 a game. Oklahoma, in their 3 games, has scored 123, over 40 a game. I'm not going to count Missouri State as far as the defense, but in the last 2 games, they've given up 65 points total. So they're giving up over 32 points a game there. All of that says to me over 72.5. I know it's a very, very high total, but I don't think there's going to be much defense at the Cotton Bowl tomorrow. So Texas and Oklahoma over 72.5.
All right, I'll start off. Florida -6 at Texas A&M. I, in fact, think this game is going to be a potential 3-score win for the Florida Gators. I have zero belief in Texas A&M.
Something happened? Oh. Can we continue? May I continue? Yes, you may. Okay. You like Florida? You like Florida -6. Okay. That game scares me. There's an effort at some point coming from A&M. Maybe it's not tomorrow, but I'm gonna lay off that one. All right, more points. Alabama hung half 100 on Texas A&M. So can they do the same thing to Ole Miss? Well, Ole Miss had half 100 hung on them by Florida. Again, I think Lane Kiffin's going to come up with a few little gimmicks, a few little wrinkles that'll put some points on the board. And enough because Alabama, I think, will get to 50. So Ole Miss gets to 20. I can get over 69.5. Alabama and Ole Miss over the total.
Things I never thought I would say. I'm taking Arkansas +14 at Auburn. I think the way they played the last couple of weeks, I think they're a much improved football team. And I don't think Auburn's that good. So Arkansas +14.
You're getting 14? I thought it was 13.5. All right. I'll give you the 14 because I'm about to lay it. That's my next pick. Auburn -14. I gave you this stat a week ago.
You're going Auburn -14. You're taking.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I gave you this stat a week ago. You laughed at me. You owe me $20 because of it. You still owe me $20.
I still do.
Okay. In the last 10 years, 2 touchdown or better underdogs that win outright lose the next week and don't cover the spread every time but 1. I gave you that stat. And you laughed at me, and Arkansas won the game. So now it's the other way. Yeah. Arkansas was better than a 2-touchdown underdog. They won the game outright. Auburn is a desperate football team right now. They're way better than Arkansas. No way Arkansas comes up with that kind of effort 2 weeks in a row. Tigers big on the Plains tomorrow.
Okay. I'll go K-State +9 at TCU. In fact, I'm even thinking about pulling the trigger K-State straight up. I think K-State got embarrassed in week 1 against Arkansas State. I saw much more improvements than I thought I would see within this year. In fact, last year I thought they actually had some nice moments with Chris Klein as their coach. So I'm going K-State +9 at TCU.
I call them an honest team. You're going to get an honest effort. You're going to get a very solid game plan. They're not spectacular. They're just a real solid, honest team. I like that pick. What I tell you last week, Auburn can't run the football, so the game ends up on the shoulders of Bo Nix because you can't run the football at Georgia. Tennessee, I don't think is going to be able to run the football at Georgia, and then the game gets put on the shoulders of Jared Giartano. Is he going to be able to beat Georgia? I don't think so. I'm back in the law firm again this week, but mostly I'm back in the Georgia defense. Georgia laying at 12. I'll take them against Tennessee. Stage a little bit too big for the Vols right now. It's a big step up in class.
All right, I've got Clemson minus 14 against Miami. I don't think Miami's ready for this game. They're going to have moments in this game where they do make plays. I truly do believe that, but it's not going to be enough to win the game. So for that reason, Clemson's going to show up for this game. They're interested in this game. They're not interested against a game against Virginia before you have Miami. Clemson minus 14.
That's a great read on the Virginia part especially, because that game was way closer than it probably should have been. All right. Just show you a little love. I showed you Braves some love in first class. I'm going to show you Kentucky Wildcats a little bit of love. Desperate football team.
Yeah.
Okay. If they lose this game, they're going to be 0-5. They got to win this game. They have largely beaten themselves the last 2 weeks. Turnovers inside the 5-yard line. Missed extra points. Showboating on the way to the end zone. Do I have your attention yet, guys? How hard it is to win in the Southeastern Conference. I think Stoops does have their attention this week. This is a home game. It's a very small number to lay in 2. Kentucky will beat Mississippi State. Cover the number. I'll take the Wildcats. I have no strong feelings about Kentucky. Okay, but...
Except
for this weekend, right? Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go to the NFL now. I like the Rams minus 6.5. I've seen it both 6.5 and 7. I'll tell you what, either one, I'll take it. At the Washington football team, who's starting Kyle Allen. The Rams defense got embarrassed against the Buffalo Bills. That's really the outliner there. I think they actually have a decent defense. They'll dominate Kyle Allen in the Washington football team. So give me the Rams minus. I'll take 7. I don't even need the 6.5.
You never know how those quarterback changes. Sometimes teams get a little juice from them. Sometimes things just get worse.
We gave you the skill players on Monday, though. Yeah. It doesn't really matter how much juice you get from it. You got to throw that juice to somebody, and they ain't got it, Chief.
That's a good point. I asked you in NFL true or false, are the Browns better on offense than the Colts are on defense? I don't think that they are. Now, there's a key injury for Indianapolis in the game, but the Colts are 63 yards per game better than any other defense in the NFL. They're 3.5 points per game better than anybody in the NFL. So I get that. I get a solid running game. I get Phillip Rivers. Just don't make the big mistake, Uncle Phil. Okay? He's going to be fine. This is an even point. It's a picket. I will take the Colts on the road. Browns off of the big emotional win a week ago. Don't sustain it. And the Colts, that is a very, very hard physical football team.
All right, so I'm going to stay in the NFL for my last pick. I'm going to go over 56.5 Seattle Seahawks versus the Minnesota Vikings. Seattle can score on any team in the NFL. Minnesota showed last week, hey, you know what? We found something. We've got the leading rookie receiver in Justin Jefferson, who can now take the top off the defense. Adam Thielen can do what he does, which is catch those intermediate routes. Dalvin Cook, we know, can run the football. Seems like they found some mojo last week. Not saying they're going to win the game, but with all the injuries Seattle has on defense, I like this to be a high-scoring game. I realize 56.5 is a big number for an NFL game, but both of those teams can score, and they can score in bunches.
So those are our picks for me. Oklahoma, Texas over. Alabama, Ole Miss over. I like Auburn. I like Georgia. I like Kentucky, and I like the Colts. Jacob likes Florida. He likes Arkansas. He likes Kansas State, Clemson, the LA Rams, and Seattle and the Vikings to go over. We're brought to you, our picks today, by Vizzy Hard Seltzer, also part of the Coors Light family. Only 100 calories, made with antioxidant vitamin C, and certified in the variety pack. You got black cherry, you got pineapple, you got the mango, blueberry, pomegranate, strawberry, kiwi, the alcohol from real cane sugar, part of our family with Coors Light, Vizzy Hard Seltzer. Ask Us is next. This is Hangin' with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny. We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At GMFS Mortgage, thanks to you, we've been changing lives for over 21 years. So far this year, that includes providing thousands of meals for the homeless, donating and helping raise $125,000 for the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, feeding hundreds of police officers during the stay-at-home order, and feeding local nursing homes. So if you're ready to buy, build, renovate, or refinance, choose a local lender that's changing lives in our community. Choose GMFS Mortgage today.
Do you know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community without being asked? We think that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust. If you know someone who exhibits all of these qualifications, nominate them for a Good Citizen Award, and they could receive $500 from Citizens Bank. And we'll recognize them here on the show. Get the details at citizensbankandtrust.com, and then nominate your good citizen.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Coming up on Mondays Off the Bench, we recap the weekend. How did LSU look in their final tune-up game pre-Florida? Biggest takeaways from the SEC? We'll preview Saints Chargers on Monday night. Give you our weekend winners. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
And it's time for Ask Us as we cruise into the weekend. Are you ready?
Always.
Okay. Well,
By the way,
pull your microphone to you.
I did think of a pet peeve of mine that was dumb. Another one.
What's that?
turn my mic off. When
Big
someone
shoe.
says I could care less, that's it's actually I couldn't care less,
couldn't.
because if you could care less, that means you actually could care less. And I know it's trivial, but every time I hear it, I'm like, I want to correct you.
I've heard there are other people that it drives crazy. There's one for me. I don't like it when announcers say grand slam home run.
Oh, yes, that's a good one, Hanny.
It's redundant.
A grand slam typically means it was a home run, even if it's inside the park. It's still
it's
a home run.
There are no grand slam doubles. Okay, I mean, you're right.
Why would you bring Denny's into this? Denny's is fantastic.
Leave Denny's alone. All right, let's see. Ask us. Money line games, Florida, LSU, and South Carolina. Would you take them just to win straight up? I would take LSU. I would take South Carolina. That Florida game scares me. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm dumb.
I'm bullish on Florida. Hanny's a little standoffish, so we're kind of wishy-washy there.
But on a money line.
Oh, money line.
It's a three. I'm guessing he's doing a 3-team parlay money line. LSU, Florida's a 6 or 7.
Bang it.
Yeah. Probably be all right. Ask us, should a 7-0 Oregon get in the playoff?
Depends on what everybody else does. Does not matter what they do. It matters what everybody else does. It matters what the 2 SEC teams do. It matters what Ohio State does. It matters what Clemson does. It matters what Notre Dame does. So
it matters a little bit what they do.
Well, they got to 7-0. Yes.
No. I mean, how you get to 7-0 also matters, I think.
But I think it matters more what other teams do, though.
Sure. If you can't,
because of how their schedule's playing now.
You can't get in over a 10-0 team out of the Big Ten or that would be 8-0 out of the Big Ten probably. And you certainly can't get in over a 10-0 SEC team. Ask us. Big congratulations. This is more of a statement. Big congratulations to Ben Mintz. Yeah,
absolutely.
We were so excited for him. He's going to join Barstool up in New York City. He'll be leaving
the big city for old Mincy, baby.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Man, we're happy for him. And did you see the video? I know you. I know you did. They were talking about hiring him, and there's a Mississippi State fan that's on their panel.
Yeah,
and he's not pleased.
Yeah, Brandon Walker comes on with T-Bob a bunch.
He is not pleased at all. So we'll see. Ask us: would any other sport not look absurd to have the coach wear a uniform like baseball?
Can you imagine some of the basketball coaches in the sleeveless,
right, in tank tops? No, can't see that.
Coach O full uniform. I can actually see that
one. with a helmet on or no. That comes up every now and then. Why? It's tradition that they've always done it. I really don't know the origins of it. I think it had something to do with Connie Mack owning the team and managing the team back when he owned the Philadelphia A's. I think, but I might just be pulling that out of some realm of my brain that really shouldn't be there or something. Ask us, why was the game time changed to 11 o'clock? Mostly for travel, so they can get back.
Travel and probably a little bit of TV.
They didn't know what they were looking at when they had to make that call on television. They wanted to be able to have the most possible options to get back. And I think LSU was also a little bit kind of nudging them like, hey, look, man, we don't really want to get in at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Although I guess, Missouri would have got in at 4 o'clock in the morning if they would have played this, as it was originally scheduled. Let's see. Ask us, should the game have moved to a cow pasture like Coach O said? He said cow pasture and what Burrow say last year? Parking lot in Canada or something like that.
Yeah. Gravel parking lot.
Gravel parking lot. Spin the wheel.
All right, what's something you like to do the old-fashioned way?
The old-fashioned way. This sounds like a question that was made for Paul O'Neill. So
I got one while you're all thinking.
All right, go ahead.
I like to listen to my music on a record player. Even today's stuff. If it's somebody I really, really enjoy, I throw it on the record player because I like to hear the scratches. I like the imperfections of listening to it. So a good whiskey in my office with the record player going, some Elvis Presley.
This one is
or Sam Cooke.
This one is right in front of me.
Oh yeah, that's like
I still read the newspaper.
There's people that you're holding that up. What is that?
I still read the newspaper, the actual newspaper. Now I read some stuff online, some newspapers online. I still have the newspaper delivered. I still read the newspaper. It's still the first thing. I pick up the newspaper before I have coffee in the morning. Okay, it's just it's habit with me. It's like breathing. Okay, you wake up, you get the newspaper, and I know there'll be a day when they probably won't print it anymore. But
yeah,
and until
some
they
cities
do,
are down to 3 times a week.
I still do. It's still Still a reference point for me. Cade, what do you still do the old-fashioned way?
No, I was going to reference in that last night as I was prepping for our high school show. I'm just so used to grabbing a copy of the newspaper. I don't try to grab one every day, but I always grab one on Fridays when we do our show, and I like to read what Robin's written and stuff like that. So just something, having it in my hand, I feel like I'm going to find the facts maybe a little bit more. I don't know.
Me too.
Yeah.
Always been like that.
Jordy uses the newspaper as well. Yeah.
I make notes on it every day. I bring to the shows. I've done that for 27 years. Paul?
So I still kind of like to do things myself. Like I don't really do Uber a lot. Like I don't get my food delivered to me. I go pick it up. I go drive myself. That kind of thing.
So you don't like convenience? Okay.
I think it's a money saver, right?
Yeah.
You go pick it up. You don't have the delivery cost. Okay. All right. Spin the wheel.
What popular TV show do you refuse to watch?
Oh,
it's going to be unpopular. Like anything we say is going to get bashed in the Mighty Four chat. I love it.
There's actually quite a few of them. Not watching the Kardashians.
Oh, no.
Come on. Well, I mean, the thing was on forever, and it was on all the time, and I was like, I'm not watching that.
But
well, it qualifies for the category.
It does. I was going to say, with our audience, I'm going to say The Office. I've tried to watch The Office. People tell me I'm ridiculous. Maybe it is me. I'm Taylor Swift in this situation, I guess, because I've tried. It's just not my cup of tea. And I told y'all the other day off the air, I mean, my humor is like Richard Pryor, Bernie Mac, Eddie Murphy.
I watched
like,
The Office. I liked it. I don't think it's the best sitcom I've ever seen in my life, but I liked it. It was funny. I don't swear by it like some people do, but I liked it.
Okay.
Cade?
I don't refuse, but I really don't. I've never watched many episodes of Friends at all.
I liked Friends, and Friends
is on. It's on all the time.
Yeah, if you put it on WTBS, it's pretty much the 24-hour Friends network.
You just showed your age, WTBS.
I did. I didn't even mean to do that. Paul?
I can't do Game of Thrones or like
Lord what?
Uh-oh.
Can't do it.
Uh-oh.
What?
T-Bob judges you.
I'm judging you. Paulie, that's like, you just sounded like the guy that's coming on next.
Tell him you like The Office too, Paul. Get him really going.
In you,
I don't like The Office either.
Oh,
okay.
Wow,
I'm disappointed.
Tomorrow, pregame starts at 7 o'clock for Jacob Hester, Paul O'Neill, and Cade Wasley. I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good afternoon. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Hanging with Hester, 104.5